the Lent-friendly entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a fresh house salad right before you indulge in your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our spicy shrimp tacos, savory Cajun pasta with shrimp, or our flavorful grilled ancho salmon. Chili's 3 for Me Lent menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
For more than 40 years, we've managed our island's most precious resource, your health. Take Care's benefit plans allow members access to more than 120 medical providers, 40 dental providers, and 18 pharmacies in the region. Take Care's health plans ensure members in Palau, Saipan, and Guam receive the care they deserve. Our programs and wellness classes have proven results for our valued members, and our commitment to your health never been stronger. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
The president still supports the Second Amendment after retired Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens said it's outdated and should be repealed. The NRA says it believes in the right to self-protection and will fight to keep that right unapologetically. They thought he had a gun. That's the bottom line from state investigators in Louisiana, deciding not to charge 2 police officers in a confrontation that led to the fatal shooting of Alton Sterling nearly 2 years ago in Baton Rouge. State Attorney General Jeff Landry.
I'm asking that everyone consider the family in the coming days and spend their time and energy in lifting them up rather than creating further division.
Federal investigators also found no criminal wrongdoing by the officers. A beer maker pulls a commercial that some viewers called offensive.
A 30-second Heineken spot featured a bartender sliding a beer down a bar past men and women of color to a woman in the distance with the slogan, "Sometimes lighter is better." It quickly sparked outrage. Grammy winner Chance the Rapper took aim, calling the ad terribly racist, tweeting, "I think some companies are purposely putting out noticeably racist ads so they can get more views." Not everyone found the spot to be offensive. One tweeting in part, "When they say light, I'm pretty sure they're talking about how it is a 99-calorie beer."
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, in a statement about removing the ad, Heineken said it was meant to reference the light beer, but missed the mark, adding they'll take the feedback to heart and use it to influence future ad campaigns. Just getting word that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is at a hospital reportedly being checked for pneumonia and getting some x-rays. His own doctor had said earlier that he didn't get enough rest to recover from being sick a couple of weeks ago and that his symptoms got worse as a result. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA, 8A, and Hub Zone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Wendy's welcomes the new Smoky Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger, featuring smoky sauteed portobello mushrooms, melted Asiago cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, and crunchy fried onions atop a juicy beef patty. For those craving the same great taste, Wendy's Smoky Mushroom Bacon Potato is also loaded with sauteed portobello mushrooms, cheddar cheese sauce, and crispy applewood smoked bacon. Here, for a limited time, get a delicious Smoky Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger and Smoky Mushroom Bacon Potato today. Wendy's. Now that's better.
Howdy, my name is James Moylan, and I'm running for a seat as your senator. The people of Guam expect more from their leaders, and I intend on delivering. If given the opportunity, I will bring my experiences in the military, public, and private sectors. I understand that during challenging times, tough decisions and an open mind are needed. Your tax dollars also need to be spent wisely. If you expect more from your elected officials and expect them to think outside of the box, then I humbly ask for your support this November. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect James Camacho Moylan for Senator, Carlos Camacho, Treasurer.
Do you suffer from eye strain? If you work at a computer, follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds to reduce eye fatigue. Ensure you have the optimal prescription for your contact lenses and glasses. Early stages of common eye diseases typically have no symptoms and can only be detected with a comprehensive dilated eye exam. Call Lombard Health today to book an appointment at 989-4747. Guam's best eye care, one patient at a time.
This KFC chicken is great, Shrimp. Hey, Who are you calling shrimp? KFC's new shrimp burger. It's great.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. Try our new shrimp burger and all our seafood items available this season. KFC Food Kelequin, breaded shrimp, seafood salad, and of course, we can't forget your one and only favorite KFC original recipe chicken.
All right. I need to try KFC's new shrimp burger. Good, because you really are shrimp. Hey, a 5-7.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Eddie Calvo has ordered his fiscal team to find an additional $1.5 million in budget cuts to ensure the fiscal realignment plan he submitted to lawmakers last Friday conforms with the new tax law. The governor telling reporters, "We don't want any more complications, period." The governor was responding to a letter he got Monday from Speaker Benjamin Cruz, who said the governor's fiscal realignment plan included only $28.5 million in budget cuts, $1.5 short of the $30 million in cuts required by the new tax law. Speaker acknowledged that $30 million in cuts were identified in the plan, but that was offset by the $1.5 million increase in funding for the Guam Memorial Hospital Authority Pharmaceutical Fund. Acting BBMR Director Lester Carlson pointing out that the Pharmaceutical Fund, by law, gets just over 6% of the business privilege tax. He said that $1.5 million increase in its budget is the result of the additional revenues the temporary BPT increase is projected to bring in. But after reviewing the Speaker's letter and meeting with his fiscal team yesterday, Calvo said he wants to make sure there's no more wiggle room. So he's asked for another $1.5 million in cuts spread out across a number of GovGuam agencies to make sure there are no further questions about the size of the budget cut in his realignment plan. The business privilege tax is slated to rise 1 percentage point to 5% this coming Sunday, April 1st. It'll remain there until September 30th when it reverts to 4%. Then on October 1st, the new 2% sales tax is slated to take effect. Firefighters from the Navy and the Forestry Service joined Guam firefighters yesterday afternoon to combat a dangerous wildfire on Nimitz Hill. Fanned by strong winds, the fire came close to a nearby housing area. It took hours to bring it under control. At least one home was evacuated. The Nimitz wildfire was the second major grass fire in the past 5 days. Late Saturday evening and into Sunday morning, another big wildfire came close to a neighborhood area in Santa Rita. In recent weeks, the combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and high temperatures have created ideal conditions for the rapid spread of wildfires. We'll have more news after this.
The implementation of a new sales tax is a complicated matter and requires much more than just declaring it done. An agency will write the new tax code and with new details, procedures, and potential problems in mind. The team of Gutierrez Bordallo is concerned that this will not solve our current fiscal problems. Our team would streamline the government, reducing non-essential employees and services instead of taxing our suffering community. We need leadership. We need Gutierrez Bordallo.
I'm Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this message.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. Guam police have arrested 5 suspects in connection with a string of robberies and burglaries around the island. In custody are 35-year-old Franklin Peter Mendiola Aldan, 41-year-old Clarence Glenn Aldan, 42-year-old Doris Ann Soriano de Leon Guerrero, 22-year-old Joseph Peter Cabrera Pangilinan, and 31-year-old Eddie John Cruz III. They're accused in a number of recent incidents, including robberies at the Verona Resort, the Alupang Sunset Garden condos, and a purse snatching at the Micronesia Mall Payless. They're also facing allegations of drug dealing and motor vehicle theft. Anderson Air Force Base Command confirmed that an airman was found dead in his quarters on base before dawn yesterday. According to a release from Anderson, the airman was found unresponsive and pronounced dead about 3 a.m. An investigation has been launched to learn the cause of the death. 36 Wing Commander Brigadier General Douglas Cox called the death a terrible tragedy, saying, "We are all deeply saddened by the loss. The airman's name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin." For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
All right, well, you do that, I'll do this here. Says, oh, wait a second, that's not the weather. That's the paperwork on what's going on at the legislature today. Here is the weather. Partly sunny and breezy with isolated showers, becoming mostly cloudy this evening. Winds east up to about 25 miles an hour, even though my weather guy, my weather expert over there, other side of the big double glass, said we ought to be down to about 15 to 20 mile an hour winds now.
It should have happened, but this storm has been kind of weird, so it's... yeah, it doesn't fit all the normal, parameters of a tropical system.
Understood. Just a little extra.
Nature does what it wants to do.
A little extra hard doing the workout when you got to run against 25-mile-an-hour winds. Highs today about 88 degrees and overnight lows of about 77 degrees. Dry, breezy weather persisting through the day. More moisture could move in tonight, raising the chances for rainfall and a chance of thunderstorms through tomorrow. I actually dreamed of rain last night.
Did you?
Yeah,
it's been that long.
It's been a while. I was dreaming about. I'd wake up every once in a while and go, "Is that rain that I hear?" And
it's a funny thing you say that because I live by the street. You can hear the cars driving by when it rains, on the wet pavement, and I keep thinking I hear that sound.
Yeah, I got you. Fire weather watch in effect through this evening, and some dramatic pictures of firefighters fighting the blaze up at Turner Road. I am very, very familiar with Turner Road and that area there, and it was just a matter of time. I know that the higher parts, the higher elevations up there leading to Channel 10 had already had their burnout, but it looks like it is moving lower and lower into the residential areas as well. Small craft advisory for local waters due to those high winds. Sunrise this morning about 6:20. Sunset tonight at 6:32.
It's a beautiful sunrise this morning.
Can you tell already by looking?
I can see it through my fuzzy glass here.
Okay, is it red?
It's got some pinks and purples in it. Yeah, it's really nice.
All right, yeah. And you know what? Let's not do the morning show. Let's just go outside and look at the sunrise.
That looks like
red sun at morning. Sailors take warning.
Yeah, right. That's the way. Red skies at night, sailors delight. Red skies in morn, sailors take warn.
That's right.
Or something along those lines. Never in the Navy, so don't know. 6:14. That's news and weather together. Brought to you here by Bank Pacific, where some put branches, they place roots.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
And this portion of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by King's Restaurant. 40 years they've been serving favorites to families like yours. Always open, always local. It's King's.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
God, I can't take the pressure. Again, we get the thing. This is morning talk that matters. It's hard to find morning talk that matters. You know what today is? It's Holy Wednesday.
That's
right.
It's
a Holy Week. There's nothing going on this week.
Holy Wednesday, Batman.
We're just people. It's going to be Good Friday. We're done with heavy news. It's Holy Week. There's not going to be any more fireworks over at the legislature. I mean, even Eddie yesterday capitulated and said, "Look, yeah, the guy's a judge, and like what Les was saying, it's Holy Week. We'll just find another $1.5 million and call this thing done. Can we just do that? Yeah. In the spirit of the holidays and all of that. stuff. But well, I'm sure we'll be able to find a couple of things that are going to be worth talking about this morning. Hey, welcome to the program. This is the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. My name is Ray. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post with all of the big stories here, and Michael Knight is keeping an eye on the weather maps to see what is finally happening with Jalawitz. So it's not moving off as quickly as we thought it was going to be?
It did a little stalling thing just north of Yap, so it just kind of creeping to the north, and it never has really consolidated like most of these systems do.
What kind of storm is it? I mean, give me an idea of what's happening down. If it's around Ulithi, Yap area, so what kind of things are they experiencing? Extra wind, extra rain?
They're getting about the same thing we are. They were getting a little more rain because the storm approached them a little more closely.
Yeah,
but
so it's barely a storm.
It really is. I mean, here's the thing. Now you have two different agencies that run things out here, but JMA, the Japan Meteorological Agency, they get the nod. They're what they call the RSMC, the main office. So they've called it a tropical storm. But our local office and the National Hurricane Center out here, JTWC as well, call it a depression. It's really a weak nothing storm.
Okay, sorry. We're talking about 40-mile-an-hour winds, maybe tops?
35 to 40,
okay.
And I mean, it's just being mentioned because, frankly, it's the only thing out there.
Yeah, and obviously having some kind of effect on the weather patterns around here for no other reason. It's just that much more difficult to run northbound, and that I think is the only thing that I've found with it. And it's keeping things dry and breezy around here. And as I said, the firefighters just having kind of a Dickens with that. That is no fun to be able to do that. Most of the time, especially in the savannas and the highlands, you can just go and park and watch it burn. Wow. There you go. It's burning. There it is. And hope that there's not going to be too much of an ecological disaster following that, with the runoffs and all of those things. But and what are you going to do? You're going to put it out until it's going to burn again tomorrow, right? So you just go and kind of watch it burn. But in this case, getting pretty close to concrete structures and places where people live. So that is of interest here. I got a couple of other things in the table of contents, but as I like to do here around this time of morning, I already got a full crowd at the Facebook. Hey, do me a favor. If you're on the Facebook thing, I'd like you to share it. There's a bunch of you that are watching that are part of the program in the morning, and I know you got a lot of people following you as well. And I'd like to turn this into big kind of community town hall experience. So do me a favor, share the video with people on your list and invite them by. I mean, they might like it. They might enjoy the idea that this is a kind of a cool thing to do first thing in the morning. Bob and Connie Bartonico, running buddies there. James Howard's up early. Ramona White Lunga. Boy, I haven't heard from you in a while. Frank Tahito, Lillian Cruz. I see Greg Massey here in the morning. And Greg getting ready for his presentation today on the H-2B visa topic at the Guam Chamber. That's going to take place. The fun starts about 11:30. There's usually a little bit of chamber business that goes on. And then the featured speaker is going to be the Guam Department of Labor's own Greg Massey, Alien Labor Processing and Certification Division Administrator, who will provide the membership with an update on the H-2B visa program, which has gotten a little bit of press in the last little bit because they had the hearing yesterday. I'm leaving you some space so you can jump in.
Let's get Greg to call in and tell us about his presentation.
Might, or it might say, I have a surprise. I got something big. I'm going to be handing out.
He can break it here first,
or something over at the chamber. Yeah, I never think about that. But yesterday over at the legislature, a conversation about an increase in the processing fees here, and some of it would go to the Department of Labor, I believe, and the workforce development and the partridge in a pear tree. So there should be a little bit on the conversation that is going to be meaningful and timely today at the Guam Chamber. Highlights include legislative updates on proposed tax increases and other chamber announcements that are going to be taking place. So if you're a member of the chamber, then I encourage you to head off in that direction. Hey, Max, good to see you here. Lee Stahl is chiming in this morning. And of course, the usual suspects, Cousin Tommy and Brad and Nick and Shelley are all already up and moving around here this morning. As I said, do me a favor and just share this out with everybody and see if we can get a few more people watching. 888-8255 is the telephone. Thank you so much. 888-8255 is the telephone number. Greg, if you'd like to chime in this morning, I know a lot of people got their morning constitutionals, and it's fun to lurk and listen to the radio. But you got a minute to call in and talk about what you're going to be doing at the chamber. That'll be all right. That'll be all right. Not everybody is going to be spending the afternoon over at the chamber and the meeting there. Some people are going to be heading off to the annual Easter Fair and Egg Hunt. This is a big deal on Holy Wednesday. This is why there's nothing going on.
Are eggs hard to catch?
Yes.
I mean, if you have to hunt them,
they're
holy
skittish.
smokes, what do you use for that?
It's just interesting to watch this evolve, because over the years that we've been doing these big Easter egg hunts, and Holy Wednesdays and everything like that, we've seen it where there were no divisions whatsoever. We'd see it that there would be families, they'd bring out kids between about 3 and 18, and then they'd line them up behind the fence and say, go! And it was always fun to watch, because you'd see the 17, 18-year-olds just trample the 3-year-olds. So they finally got it so that we've got these guys in divisions now. That's the way it works, divisions. And moms and dads aren't allowed to go out there, which is the other thing, because the moms and dads would swat out the other kids so that their kids would get, I mean, it was, you watch some of the videos of this stuff, it's just like the Beverly Hillbillies. Give me that. So we've got, they've figured it all out over all these years. So 2 o'clock this afternoon, going to be taking place at the Guam Sports Complex in Dededo. We didn't shut that down, right? That's not one of the places that got shut down?
Just the pool.
Just the pool.
And it's been shut down for months.
Right, exactly. So repairs on the new pool that we've got going on there. Everything starts about 2 o'clock. The egg hunt will be at 3. More than 10,000 plastic eggs containing treats will be hidden. I don't know how you hide them. There's not much there to hide things in. I think it's just a grassy area, right? Special prizes for the golden egg in each age division: 1 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 10. And then, of course, we've got the old guys on the radio division. Awards for 2 p.m. Easter basket contest include the most earth-friendly, most beautiful, and funniest. Visit vendors, nonprofit groups, and government agency booths. Bring baskets, sunscreen, a chair, and an umbrella. What about coolers? Can we bring?
You better bring some water, too. The good news is that fluorescent pink and green eggs are not hard to find on the lawn.
Can I bring my cooler with the Heineken Light? Now that they're in trouble. What did you hear that story in the Fox News? The Heineken Light got in trouble because sometimes lighter is better, and in these, oh my God, everything is offensive to anybody, to somebody. They got the Twitter by trial, and they've decided to go ahead and pull those ads. Unbelievable. Anyway, go green. Plastic Easter grass is prohibited on complex grounds, and probably prohibited on the simpler grounds as well. Really? Is that a thing? You're not allowed to bring plastic Easter grass there?
No, it's not good for the environment. Do you know, in South Texas, they have an Easter tradition there. Of course, another very large Catholic community. They take the eggs, empty them out, and take the shells. They just take the tops off. Put confetti inside the still mostly whole shells.
Yeah.
Tape the ends that they cut open, and they give those out, and kids go around smacking easy on top of people's heads and each other.
To see if
and
the confetti comes out.
Oh, it does. It's just in an egg.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm sure every once in a while,
it's a mess. Any way you look at it, it's a mess.
No. So they're not using this as an opportunity to prank somebody
No.
and smash like a regular uncooked egg on top of their head?
No, that doesn't really happen. For whatever reason, they don't really think about it that way during the season.
That would be me. I would totally do that this morning. Anyway, 6:25. Lots. Yeah. How is it possible after all of these years nobody's done that? I don't get it.
I'm sure it's probably happened. It just wasn't something we heard a lot about. It occurred to me too, but it never happened the whole time I was down there.
All right. So the thing that is I probably have the most notes on, the most scratch on my table of contents this morning is the Grammy winners. The Grammy winner, Yvonne Elliman, who apparently went before the man. I've met her a couple of times. She was a frequent guest on the old show whenever she would come in and not in handcuffs. She would come in and I'd interview her. And she was a great interview. I mean, I absolutely love spending time with her on the air.
Did she fidget?
You know what? There are a lot of things that make more sense now. Mentally recalling some of those things, looking back on those interviews. There's a few things that make a little bit more sense now. But anyway, so she got busted, did the performance, even though the church kind of said, "Wow, really? We had no say in this? Okay, fine." So she did the performance and then ordered to come back after paying the restitution and getting herself and her husband all cleaned up and all of that, because it comes time now for sentencing. We're going to be doing sentencing. Brad, stop that. Brad types in this morning, did you just mention plastic grass? Be careful. Regine Bisco-Lee might put a fee on that. Hey. Somebody might try to smoke it. Anyway, so I was saying, speaking of smoking it, going back to the Yvonne Elliman story. So she's back. She came back, and I guess the sentencing phase. And it is, without putting too many details on it, she's been sentenced to 14 days in Hawaii.
Wow. Vacation time.
Wow. Talk about your cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah,
that's where she lives.
It doesn't even have to be a continuous service. She can serve a day or two and then
come back
and then take a break. She's taking care of her mom.
Well,
that's the deal.
No, and I get it, and I'm sure there's a lot of other people that have got issues that they, family issues, and have found themselves on the wrong side of the law and have gone in for a lot harsher sentences. Mom is sick. Well, gee, you should have thought about that before you got into this life of crime. So I'm going, wow, what are we talking about here? 14 days for this meth charge here. So what's the new deal on murder? What is that, 2 months? Do we get to serve that out in Bali, Cairns, Australia? Do we get a choice in all of these things? Let me just put it this way, and I know both of these guys, and I love both of them, but God, if something happens, between the two of you, can you promise me to remember this? Okay. Promise me you'll remember this. If I run into something with the law, I want Mike is my lawyer, okay? And I want you guys to judge shop until I get Vern. Right?
Okay.
Because that's what that in my mind is, if you got to go before the man, that's how you do it. You get the most convincing lawyer in the history of Guam, and you have him on your right hand, and then you go to Vern, and Vern's going to go, Ray, you got to do that radio show tomorrow, so I'm going to take it easy. You only have to serve for the weekend. You just do your service on Sunday, Saturday, and Sunday. Unless you have a remote on Saturday, unless you're doing a live broadcast from the, Triple J or something.
Or a run.
Right, or a run, or 5K. Yeah, exactly. And then, just coming on Sunday. Unless you're going to Mass.
It might help to be a Grammy Award-winning artist, too,
Well, so here's the thing. This is not just us talking about it. It's not just me talking about it. Because she is a Grammy Award-winning artist. As you might imagine, this has probably gone wide. The Moody's people, the S&P people are looking at this as well. They're looking at all of the stuff going on with the finances on Guam. And what the heck, while they're looking over the big news stories that have Guam in them, they're reading about this not in the Guam Daily Post, not in the KUAM newscast archives, any of that stuff. They are reading about the story that I was reading from comes from the Washington Post. Washington Post has picked up the story. The Associated Press has picked up the story. The New York Daily News, Billboard magazine is covering this story. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune, and yes, even the Sacramento Bee is covering this story about Yvonne Elliman.
That's reaching new heights.
So I imagine an influx of Grammy Award winners coming to Guam because they know you can get away with anything out here. 6:29 in the morning, and this is the Ray Gibson Show. 888-8255. That number again is 888-8255. Hope to get some answers on some questions involving. Let me see here, the paperwork that Governor Calvo sent down. As I said, he was of the mind yesterday. It might be easier. We'll just do some more pro rata on these agencies and overall reduce this by another $1.5 million, so that
No more wiggle room.
Yeah, so the BJ won't send any more emails over. Just whatever it is that's going to make BJ quiet, we'll go ahead and just do that now for now. We'll get into another scrap next week or something like that. So there's that. But a very interesting point that had come up yesterday, and I thought there was still a question mark on it, is now that and the fiscal realignment looks very much like a budget. Looks very much like a budget document. It is.
It is.
It's the budget with some minuses on it in a bunch of different places and a couple of places where there are some pluses. So will the legislature then take an opportunity to adopt this as the new 2018 budget?
We asked that of Lester yesterday.
Yes. And
it's up to them.
And so I'd like to see if there's somebody that we might be able to talk to over at the legislature and see if they're of the mind to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to me that there's any of what, if you've listened to the show long enough, of what I call the hard rails. Yeah. There's nothing there that says that anybody has to do anything unless we put this into some kind of statute. So we'll watch and see what happens. 6:32, is that right? And Headline Times with Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post.
Hafaday and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, Grammy Award-winning singer Yvonne Elliman Alexander and her husband Alan Bernard Alexander sentenced to 14 days in jail yesterday, stemming from their September plea deal on felony charges of possessing marijuana and methamphetamine. Superior Court Judge Vern Perez allowed the couple to do their time in Hawaii where they live, and the time doesn't have to be served all at once consecutively. It can be served during business hours, according to the court order. The Alexanders' attorney, Mike Phillips, asked for probation, saying the couple had completed everything they were ordered to do by the court in the plea agreement signed last September, including community service and drug therapy. However, Judge Perez denied that request, saying zero time would not be appropriate. This is a serious crime. Members of the Guam Fire Department yesterday testifying in support of a bill that would raise the cost of services and inspection fees provided by the Guam Fire Department. Bill 251 would impose charges on a number of fire and emergency services now provided for free. It would also significantly raise the cost of other inspection and licensing fees provided by the fire department. Acting Fire Chief Darren Burrier said the proposed fee increases are not a reaction to the current fiscal crisis. He said it's about raising our fees to a level that should have been addressed before now. The last time GFD raised its fees was back in 2007. Burrier said the new fee should bring in about $2.8 million annually. An evidentiary hearing has been scheduled for Save Guam, Inc.'s effort to overturn the Guam Land Use Commission's approval of that controversial Pago Bay Ocean Resort development. Superior Court Judge Arthur Barcenas ordering both parties to appear before the court on April 26 to present their arguments. Lizia Casil said they've been waiting for 2 years, and she's confident the outcome will be in their favor. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
iConnect time in the studio here is 6:34. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
It's super, stupendous. It's sensational. It's a sensational seafood menu at Ruby Tuesday with satisfying selections of appetizers like lobster mac, crispy flatbreads, Italian cheese dip, and stuffed shrimp. Try them all and enjoy the selection of sensational seafood for a limited time at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Oh, you got to be kidding. Is it the traffic music playing at 6:35 on a Holy Wednesday morning? There is no traffic here today. I'll tell you that right now. I'm looking at the traffic gizmo, and there might be a car doing 20 miles an hour out in front of the Pizza Hut up in Dedido, and that's it. That's all I got for you. Looking around to see if there might be anything else. Let me see if there's anything happening. Coming down from the Old Rainbow. And the Old Rainbow Market onto 7A towards the Agana swimming pool. That's starting to busy up a little bit more. Probably has everything to do with the fact that there might be one of the worst traffic lights that we've got on Guam at the opposite end of that. But that's all the traffic I can report for you at 6:35 on the Post.
Triple J says yes. Zero down? Yes. 1.9% financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. No payments for 90 days? Yes. We'll have you saying yes, too, to these amazing deals. Like our big boy truck, the Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck. Or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck. Or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul. Both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for a full day of fun. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, and The Point.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show.
Leave the camera on. And everybody can see me try to multitask my way through this morning. That's the one I'm looking for.
But you got to make sure you don't pick your nose or something.
Anybody that knows me knows that when I'm deep into doing something, when I'm really concentrating, and I don't know whether it's just a me thing. I'm sure that other guys. I'm sure you noticed it when we were building the studios. Mm-hmm. Did you notice I stick my tongue out?
Yeah, you're like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, so when I'm really concentrating on something, I stick my tongue out. So anyway, sorry, that's the only noise I can make while I'm actually trying to type something. Just letting somebody.
We'll play a little bit while you do that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. It's just one of those two guys that I asked you to make a phone call to. Go ahead and start calling. And let's see what because I know one of them's awake because I can see him on the chat. Good morning, Mark. Good to have you there. It's 6:39. Yeah, right now on The Point. Every once in a while, I get confused and call us The Post because I got Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post sitting right next to me and covering some interesting stories. You can hear him clatter away on some of that. And every once in a while, when I'm in the midst of an interview with somebody, you can hear him clatter away on his terminal because that will turn into updates on stories that you can follow at the Guam Daily Post website. And so I think I've already wrung out all of my thoughts on Grammy winner to serve sentence in Hawaii for Guam drug case. Yeah, not much more that you can do with that particular story. Yvonne Elliman comes to Guam, does the show, brings some contraband in with her, and now that that bit of unhappiness is done, I suppose we're just left down here. I heard somebody not that long ago lament that we just seem sometimes to be just the easiest people when it comes to crime and thugs. And there's adequate stories around here that you can go to. Top of the fold on the Daily Post today. 5 arrested in robberies. And there's Clarence and Doris and Eddie and Franklin and Joseph. And you wonder, after everything that they have done, and getting busted, maybe we'll find some justice with these guys. Or is it going to be another one of those stories where we hear that they have been busted again and they were on pretrial release or all of this other stuff? And you just go, man, there just needs to be a little bit more by way of finding people that don't know how to play with the same rules that we do. And making them not do that. And sometimes it comes down to incarceration, and sometimes it comes to the fear of incarceration. Don't you think? Don't you think? I tell you what, the only reason why I've been on the straight and narrow most of my life for the kind of straight and narrow that I've been on, maybe not as narrow and not as straight as, I'd like to think in my heart of hearts, but is the fear of getting thrown in jail. I don't want to go to jail. I've seen some of the TV shows and the movies about it, and there is nothing about any of that I like. And I think, you know what, I'm not going to steal, even though the opportunities have been there. There are all kinds of opportunities there. Steal a case of Spam or luncheon meat. That's the new thing.
Scared straight.
Absolutely, and I don't want to have that opportunity to find out that I really do relish my freedom. But it just seems to me that there's so many people that they don't seem to be worried about it.
I spent the night in jail once.
Really?
In New Hampshire.
What for?
Buddy and I. It's a good story. It's a good story. We were driving up to Mount Washington to for a weekend climb from Connecticut, and our VW Bug broke down on the highway. Cop came by, and we had no place to stay. We didn't have that much money. He said, "Well, come on back to the jail. You can stay in the cell."
You're kidding.
We stayed in the cell.
Hey.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Words of that. How about that? How about that? No, were you just the two of you in the cell?
They let us out in the morning. So.
Yeah, thank goodness. But was it just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Okay, so it wasn't like that you were in there with Bubba.
No. There was nobody else in the small New Hampshire town.
Nobody.
What are you going to do?
Didn't have to go take showers and worry about whether I dropped the soap or not or any of that stuff.
No, it's a story I tell frequently. It's my only time in jail.
Yeah, there's not quite Shawshank Redemption.
An overnight stay.
Not quite the Shawshank Redemption, but the Green Mile, but pretty close. Anyways, I don't know. I think every once in a while that we coddle, and I know I'm not the only one. We coddle some of our criminals, and we've just got to do a better job of it. Brad likes that story. He digs that. All right. Over at the legislature, there is still going to be. I don't think there's going to be any fireworks over at the legislature today. The only thing that I think is going to be interesting, Dr. Jeff Johnson's going in for a commission on the PUC along with Peter Montanola. I always thought that Peter was one of the smartest guys I know, so I can't make the hearing, but if you're going to be there, say Ray Gibson says thumbs up on Peter Montanola. Later on, there's going to be in Speaker B.J. Cruz and his Committee on Appropriations and Adjudication is going to have a public hearing on this, an act to allow the immediate taxation of short-term vacation rental units. They're going to be making an amendment to Chapter 61, Title 21 of the GCA, and this is something that has been talked about plenty in recent weeks. We'll start hammering away at how we might be able to put some money into the government of Guam. Save, for sure. Savings as much as possible, for sure. But we all recognize that we've got to think about how we're going to get some money, and how are we going to get money from people that actually should be paying their taxes. Notice I didn't say fair share. I didn't say fair share. So there's this bill that Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi had put together for to allow for the immediate taxation of the short-term vacation rental units. Now, whether or not it's going to work out, whether it's going to bring in the 11% of the $24 million worth of revenue that the Airbnbs are supposed to be making around here, I don't know. Whether or not the Department of Revenue and Taxation is going to be able to roll out and see if they can get that dough, whether they've got the people to do it or whether they've got the mechanism to be able to enforce, because it's an Airbnb. It's not like they've got a serious investment here. Sometimes people just subletting into the sublet, right? So, you're coming after me for taxes? No problem. I'll just move to over there. That's where I'll put my Airbnb. Because it's like that. It's not like they're building up resorts and all of that. So we'll see how that happens. My guess is it'll go through with flying colors in the public hearing, and eventually we'll be talking about a new piece of law here. And other items in the table of contents. Careful, the grass is crispy. I don't know if you've noticed, but dry weather conditions. And so maybe a little bit more water on the lawns. This is one of those times. It used to be back in when I was a kid, we'd get to a point because we had shaky infrastructure back then, and they'd say it's dry season, but don't water the yard because we don't have enough water. It used to be like that. Not hearing anything like it today. So I'm saying if you've got some crunchy grass under your feet, go ahead and let the hose run on it for a little bit. I'm sure the grass will enjoy it. 6:44. And welcome to the program, Greg Massey from the Department of Labor. We'll get some practice in for your what do you call it? Your presentation today over at the Guam Chamber of Commerce. Good morning.
Hey, Ray. How's it going?
You know what? I'm doing good. Just living the dream here. Wake up every morning at 4 o'clock. I beat the alarm and hustle through my morning routine so I can be here with you every morning at 6. How's that for an answer?
Well, and I'm here with you at 6 every morning, too, and welcome back to the radio.
Well, it's great to be back. It's great to be back, and there's so much that's fun out there to talk about. We had the opportunity at the build-up forum that took place a couple of weeks ago over at the Dusitani to talk to guys about the H-2B program and how much both for military construction and for local construction is riding on us being able to get in some bodies to augment our slim workforce around here. So what kind of stories are you going to tell today over at the chamber meeting?
Well, it's just kind of an update to some of the stuff that's been in the media. We do have a sizable U.S. workforce, but we have to supplement these workers with our workforce with H2, and there's been a couple of different avenues, I guess, that have opened up with the 2018 National Defense Authorization Act and the lawsuit with the GCA. Those have opened up a couple, probable paths to get some approvals. We haven't seen any H-2 approvals going on almost 2 years now.
Still, even with the nod on the military buildup, the applications for those H-2Bs have not been approved yet.
Well, those are relatively new in the past, couple months. There is a 60-day process to get through my office and get what's called a labor certification.
Sure.
Employers have to offer these jobs to U.S. workers through a recruitment process, and they have to go through all the vetting and make sure all their taxes are paid and they don't have any wage issues. And we do a bunch of stuff behind the scenes that nobody really knows about to vet these employers out. So several of them are going through the process. We've got, I think, one test case that went in that we probably will hear a little bit more on in the next couple weeks. Another one going in relatively soon in the next week or two. So this time next month we'll have a better outlook. But the chambers asked me to come and kind of give an update on stuff that's going on.
No. And so I guess we have to wait out that process as well. But, there's work that needs to be done, obviously, build-up work that needs to be done. And we need to make sure that we've got the manpower for that. Also concerned about the off-base construction that is going to be taking place. I mean, more and more, I don't know if you've seen it, but just up the street from me, not too far away from the infusion, it looks like they've cleared off some of the land over on where Daryl Taggarty's place was. And so I'm curious about who they've found to be able to, number one, get that work done, and who's going to be doing the building there. Seeing a whole lot of other places where there seems to be some kind of construction, and so it seems to me there's a real demand for skilled labor on this side of the fence. How are we meeting those needs?
Well, definitely. Like I said earlier, there's kind of a myth out there that we rely totally on imported foreign labor. It's absolutely not true. We have a core U.S. workforce of over about 5,000 people. Now, the H-2s are really brought in there's a real niche for them, and it's normally in just your carpenters, masons, and rebar guys.
Yeah.
But not to say, and again, it's kind of portrayed out there that there's, that we there is a lack of workers, but it's not severe that we're totally paralyzed. Now, anytime we get large projects, like you're going to build a hotel or you're going to build a military base, then definitely we just don't have the capacity to do that. And rightfully so, because, if we bring in 5,000 construction workers, if you bring them in from the U.S., when those jobs are done, you've got 5,000 unemployed people.
That's right. You need to consider the elasticity of the situation. We're not always building hotels. We're not always building the infrastructure for a military base.
Absolutely, and when you look at the H2 numbers traditionally, they go up and down with the economy and construction, and they'll go as high as typically 1,500 workers and as low as 100 workers, and it's happened, many times. Construction is cyclical.
Yeah. There's another topic that might come up today in the meeting, and I know that you were part of a hearing yesterday at the legislature on a bill. I think it's Regine Biscoe-Lee's bill that would increase the fees that are charged for H2 laborers to come to Guam.
Yeah, I testified at that yesterday. I just offered some technical corrections. Those policy decisions are kind of above my pay grade, so I leave it to the wisdom of those above me to make those calls. But I'll go ahead and chime in on the technical aspects of how we would apply something like that.
I'm surprised there wasn't any opposition to it. It doesn't sound like anybody opposed the idea, and certainly the Department of Labor and the Workforce Development Program would be beneficiaries of these increases in the fees, correct?
Well, definitely, yes. I mean, the big winner in that would probably be, well, again, depending on the percentages, a lot of money would go to the community college, to support apprenticeship. Guam's the only jurisdiction, I believe, who, when we bring in foreign workers, we're also funding, training programs with it. So, the intention is not, for DOL to get money. I mean, we need money to run the program, and this increase would help us not rely on general fund revenues. So I mean, you always want programs to fund themselves, right? If you have an activity that funds itself, then it's being done right. But we do fund, like I said, apprenticeships, and a lot of people say, well, how come we're still bringing in after years and years of having this fee? But a lot of this apprenticeship money has gone to where the demand is in, like, for instance, the hospitality industry and the customer service and retail realms. And, there's a lot of apprentices. If you look at GCC's report, they're not standing still. Unfortunately, our youth just don't want to go out there and do those hard, heavy, carrying rebar around in the Guam sun kind of jobs. We've trained our kids to go ahead and prep for college and go into high-tech and STEM industries, and there needs to be a refocus, maybe down as far as the elementary school level, of getting kids interested in the trades again.
Sure. I'm not, and I can't disagree with that. I work inside. There's air conditioning here. I didn't have to do a whole lot of heavy lifting and concrete mixing and rebar bending when we built the studios for the radio station. So I know exactly what you mean, and I can understand the mindset. The other thing is that once you've got your paperwork and that you've gone through an apprenticeship program, those things are portable, and there are all kinds of jobs in other places where they're constantly looking for labor. If you think about all of the folks that got smacked with devastating storms in the United States mainland and construction jobs out there, there's no reason why kids from around here that have that experience, that have that know-how, couldn't get on an airplane and go find a job almost immediately.
Absolutely, and that's also what's compounded our problem here. We're an isolated island economy where, who wants to, who wants to fly, to Guam to work when you can, find jobs, at home in the mainland, and yes, if you look at any of the trade journals, you'll find that the skills gaps in these carpenter, mason, and rebar guys it's not just Guam that's having these problems, these generational problems. It's all over the mainland too. Again, not to say that we don't have workers here, we do, but construction's a young man's game, and our construction workforce is kind of aging now. So, we really need to get a focus and get these kids interested in going out and doing that hard work. And then there are kids that like to do that. There are people that want to work with their hands. We just got to identify them early and get them, get them interested, and then get them into, Department of Labor has so much. We're getting federal dollars. You've got programs like Bert Johnson's Trades Academy out there. You've got GCC in the schools. We just need to do an extra better job of getting them into those jobs. Because hey, I tell you something. When something goes wrong at your house, who's the most sought-after guy. It's that guy who can come and fix your door.
No, it's Barrett.
You know?
Barrett Plumbing. I'll just say it right now, Jessica. It's Barrett. They can do everything. Even if it's not plumbing, I call them anyways. Have the guy. They like to chip into the concrete. So it says the basic roles of putting together the foundation and the walls of the house, carpentry and masonry and rebar work. All of the rest of it at the end of the day is just finished stuff, right? It's just guys to come in and do some painting and install the electricity and install some of the plumbing and all of the fixtures and all of that. But I mean, the basic guts of it, those are the guys that we need to have a whole lot more of, and that's why we need to get a little bit better of a handle on that kind of labor. They don't need to stay here. They don't need to live here. They don't need to become permanent residents, but we do need to be able to get them in and through. What were the nature of the technical corrections, just while I got you on the line, that you made to or that you suggested for the measure yesterday?
One of them was just to correct how some prorating is done. Typically when workers come in, they come in, when they initially come in, they don't come in right there at day one of their certification. It takes a while for them to trickle in, and there was some prorating that was done. So one of them was how to do that when people extend their stay. The other one was just, God, I have to remember without my notes here. They had suggested that this increase we would have the ability to discount for civilian jobs.
Sure.
So if you're working on my suggestion was, because what they don't want to do is to increase the cost of construction to, Tun Frank and Tanada,
right,
building their house, or to increase the cost of government construction jobs. If we're building roads or bridges, or the budget's already tight as it is. We wouldn't want to shoot ourselves in the foot and increase the cost for those.
Right. Oh, I see. That was a component of it. So we wanted to be able to say that this is only going to apply for certain types of jobs in certain places, i.e. military buildup. If we needed the H-2 labor, then for a local construction firm that was going to be dealing primarily with making sure that I got a nice doghouse with air conditioning, then that wasn't going to cost me anymore.
Yeah, so what I did, that was the proposal in the bill. So what I suggested was to make it for only companies that are working exclusively on those projects. So you don't get a guy that comes in with a $300 million, a federal project, and then he's, doing renovation on one house and then claim, well, I'm working civilian. So,
yeah.
And then the last one was just some suggestions on how to apply I think they had recommended focusing the funding on occupations that are more in demand. As I spoke earlier, we have a lot of apprentices. They've used apprentice money to, train customer service reps and hospitality, and that's all great. People are still getting trained, but I guess, Senator Dr. Mabini, my boss, basically said that, the intention of the law was to decrease our dependence on foreign workers.
Right.
And, we should maybe focus a little bit more on that, because this whole H-2 denial thing has been a real wake-up call for a lot of people who maybe had a kind of a really small core work group, and they did kind of depend on, and rightly so, for 30 years.
Well, because that's the way it was, and then you don't have to feed and house, et cetera. So I get it, and there's other things that we can talk about next time, and different kinds of imported labor, if you will. It doesn't necessarily have to be strongbacks and rebar benders, but there's all kinds of other places that look to bringing in expertise off island. We'll spend some time on that the next time you and I get a chance to talk. Good luck today over at the Chamber. Have an outstanding day, Greg Massey.
Thank you, sir.
We are KUSG. Agutnia. That's the call signs of this radio station, but everybody else knows us as The Point, 93.3. 888-8255. Call in the next hour. We got Fox News Live coming up next, and then Kevin Kerrigan with the Daily Post News.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. A rally turns into a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow drops 344 points to 23,857 after being up over 200 points during the session. The S&P also down more than 1%. The Nasdaq falling nearly 3%. all led by a slide in tech shares, including Facebook, which is now down 18% since allegations about possible misuse of data first broke. One Illinois county is suing.
This Cook County lawsuit is very specific, saying that both Facebook and Cambridge Analytica scraped data from social media profiles. The suit says that both companies violated state fraud law.
Fox Business Network's Deirdre Bolton. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has reportedly decided to testify before Congress about privacy concerns. He has invitations from 3 different committees. California suing the Trump administration for the 27th time, this time over a plan to add a citizenship question to the 2020 census.
The Trump administration has yet again failed to learn from history. They failed to consider the consequences of scaring people into not filling out the census form.
State Attorney General Javier Becerra says if people are afraid to answer that question, the census can't fulfill its obligation to count everyone. He also says California could lose a seat in Congress because of its high number of foreign-born and undocumented residents. The White House says the Justice and Commerce Departments recommended the question to better enforce the Voting Rights Act. A trip to the hospital for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu being tested for pneumonia, said to be suffering from a high fever and coughing, but a spokesman for the health ministry says he is now feeling better. This is the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
GPSI Guam is a professional services company that is a registered contractor for the federal government. They're an SBA 8A and HubZone certified SDVOSB, providing program/project management, administration, technical support, logistics, and commodities. Find out more about GPSI and how they can help you today. For large prime companies, contact GPSI if you need assistance in meeting your small business subcontracting goals at 477-3058. They'll be happy to assist.
Are you waiting too long for a home loan decision? Are you looking for a bank that understands your needs and can close your loan quickly at today's super low rates? Then come no further than Bank Pacific. Our home loan specialists are friends and neighbors from your community, and our decisions are made right here in Hagåtña. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
A Washington state man accused of sending explosive-packed packages to military installations around D.C.
Several packages containing destructive devices, black powder, and rambling notes were intercepted Monday, sent to Joint Base Anacostia Bowling and Fort McNair in D.C. and other military and government sites in Virginia. Last night, police arrested 43-year-old Tan Kong Fan in his Everett, Washington home. No motive was given. Nobody was injured by the packages. Each was flagged before being opened.
Fox's Jared Halpern in D.C. More than 24 countries and the NATO alliance have now expelled over 100 Russian diplomats over the poisoning of a former Russian spy in Britain.
The Russian government must understand that there are serious consequences for its destabilizing actions.
White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders.
This large and growing global response makes it clearer than ever that an improved relationship will only be possible if the Russian government changes its behavior.
Russia still denies any role in the poisoning and is working on a response to the expulsions. The Country Music Hall of Fame has 3 new members.
You love me and it's inviting.
Singer-songwriter Dottie West and fiddle player Johnny Gimbel both inducted posthumously, while Ricky Skaggs was there for this morning's ceremony. He had hits in the early 80s, including Heartbroke and Uncle Pen. The Video Game Hall of Fame out with nominees for its 2018 class.
The picks represent many different eras of gaming, from the arcade Atari game Asteroids to the much more active Dance Dance Revolution, where players would stomp to the rhythm on a footpad controller while the avatar pulled off sweet dance moves. The 12 nominees range in age from 1962's Space War to 2009's Minecraft, and my personal favorite, 1997's Final Fantasy VII.
Fox's Eamon Dignam. In New York, Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
$7 meal from Circle K. Get your choice of 2 Nathan's all-beef hot dogs or a half-pound Nathan's all-beef footlong, a big wrap bag of chips, and any size Polar Pop. That's a giant deal of a meal, all for only $7. Circle K. Take it easy.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for a full day of fun. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, and The Point.
Wendy's welcomes the new Smoky Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger, featuring smoky sauteed portobello mushrooms, melted Asiago cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, and crunchy fried onions atop a juicy beef patty. For those craving the same great taste, Wendy's Smoky Mushroom Bacon Potato is also loaded with sauteed portobello mushrooms, cheddar cheese sauce, and crispy applewood smoked bacon. Here for a limited time, get a delicious Smoky Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger and Smoky Mushroom Bacon Potato today. Wendy's. Now that's better.
At GTA, we believe you deserve better than home internet with hidden data fees. That's why all our internet plans are unlimited, because streaming your favorite shows while cooking dinner shouldn't cause indigestion when the internet bill comes. So the choice is yours. Bill shock with the other guys, or a life unlimited with GTA. Say goodbye to hidden data fees and make the switch today. GTA, your island, your network.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Guam Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola expected to conduct an autopsy today on the body of an Andersen Air Force Base airman who was found dead in his quarters early Tuesday morning. Andersen Air Force Base Command confirmed that the airman was found unresponsive, pronounced dead at about 3 a.m. Tuesday. An investigation has been launched to learn the cause of the death. 36 Wing Commander Brigadier General Douglas Cox called the death a terrible tragedy, saying, "We are all deeply saddened by the loss." The airman's name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. Grammy Award-winning singer Yvonne Elliman Alexander and her husband Alan Bernard Alexander sentenced to 14 days in jail yesterday, stemming from their September plea agreement on felony charges of possession of marijuana and methamphetamine. Judge Vern Paris allowed the couple to do their time in Hawaii where they live, and the time doesn't have to be consecutive, doesn't have to be served all at once. It can be served during business hours according to the court order. The Alexanders' attorney, Mike Phillips, had asked for probation, saying the couple had completed everything the court had asked them to do in the plea agreement, including community service and drug therapy, but Judge Paris denied that request, saying 0 time would not be appropriate. He said this is a serious crime. We'll have more news after this.
Chili's has the seafood you crave, the flavors you love, at a great price with our 3 for Me Lent menu. For just $15, you can get a beverage, fresh salad, and a Lent-friendly entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a fresh house salad right before you indulge in your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our spicy shrimp tacos, savory Cajun pasta with shrimp, or our flavorful grilled ancho salmon. Chili's 3 for Me Lent menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
10 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Firefighters from the Navy, the Forestry Service joined Guam firefighters yesterday afternoon to combat a dangerous wildfire up on Nimitz Hill. Fanned by strong winds, the fire came close to a nearby housing area. It took hours to bring it under control. At least one home was evacuated. The Nimitz wildfire was the second major grass fire in recent days. Last Saturday evening and into Sunday morning, another big wildfire came close to a neighborhood area in Santa Rita. In recent weeks, the combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and high temperatures have created ideal conditions for the rapid spread of wildfires. Vietnam veterans and their supporters planning a rally tomorrow to help raise awareness of possible Agent Orange contamination here on Guam and to win support for bills currently before the U.S. Congress seeking compensation and broader medical coverage for those exposed to the toxic chemical. The rally will take place between 4 and 6 tomorrow afternoon in front of Delegate Madeline Bordallo's district office in Agana. Three of the rally organizers, Ned Pablo, Vietnam vet Barry Meade, and Susan Nkanko, said elected leaders aren't doing enough to address reports of the past use of Agent Orange here on island. A number of veterans have recently come forward to say that Agent Orange was sprayed on Guam during the Vietnam War era, and that led to the introduction of a bill in Congress known as the Foster Act, named after a man who claimed to have sprayed the chemical on island, Leroy Foster. H.R. 809 would grant presumptive Agent Orange exposure status to service members who served on Guam back during the Vietnam era. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Holy Wednesday weather. Batman, partly sunny and breezy with isolated showers, becoming mostly cloudy tonight. East winds up to about 25 miles an hour. Daytime highs 88 degrees and overnight lows cool 77 degrees. Days are getting shorter, though. 6:20. No, are they getting longer? They're getting longer, right? Yeah. So
nights are getting shorter.
That's the problem here. 6:32 is the sunset tonight, sunrise tomorrow morning about 6:19 or 6:20. Fire weather watch continues to be in effect through this evening. Small craft advisory for local waters due to the heavier winds that we've got as the storm is still the dominant feature of the weather package here in the Pacific, even though it's just a little small banana storm.
Kind of a wannabe.
Yeah. So, but it is affecting the patterns that we have around here. So it's something we got to live with. 7:12 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
How do you turn every day into cash back? With the Bank of Guam Visa credit card, cash back just got better. Get 1.5% cash back every month with every purchase. Every pick-me-up, every filler-up, every Sunday dinner, every four-wheel spinner. Whatever comes to mind, even every stroll in the sweet sunshine. Everything your heart desires turns into 1.5% cash back every month. The Bank of Guam Visa credit card, the everyday card. Apply today. Call, click, or visit. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Oh, thank you so much. 7:13. I could tell you about the classic tuna or the seafood sensation or the Veggie Max over at Subway. Those are the deals they've got for Lent. But they came by here yesterday with these fantastic wraps. They were just to die for. And they're available right now. You don't have to wait until Lent is over. I know that there's some people that go, you know what, I really, really like it. Like the way they make those big sandwiches over at Subway, but every once in a while, I want something with less of the bread in it, right?
That's
so how do I get that flavor without getting the carb load? So they have wraps. Now they've got a couple of things that that were designed to be eaten with the wrap, but really any sandwich, any way you like it, with all the condiments, all the fixings, and all the flavors you want it, your way. You know how you do the build over at Subway. They'll do that for you, like right now, and even for breakfast. You can go to Subway now and have a breakfast wrap. So whatever it is that you normally get there, have them prep it in a wrap.
Yep, and they do eggs, bacon, all that stuff.
What is that, like 60 seconds? And what do they pay for, 30?
Yep, it takes no time at all.
No, I'm talking about how long did I go, 60?
At least.
So I'm trying to take care of this customer here. This is what I do for my advertisers, especially the ones that I love, especially the ones that bring food to the radio station. So Subway for breakfast, a great wrap is waiting for you right now. Can't make it for breakfast? Then definitely lunchtime today over at Subway.
Did you know over 80% of all vision impairments can be prevented or cured? Naval Academy and Johns Hopkins University graduate Dr. Peter Lombard has performed thousands of sight-saving procedures in Guam since 2010. He specializes in cataract surgery and can treat your diabetic eye disease, glaucoma, and much more. From simple vision exams to complex surgery, Lombard Health proudly accepts all insurance. Call today to book an appointment at 989-4747. Guam's best eye care, one patient at a time.
So you heard the old joke, I got a bridge to sell you, right? And you would know it would ever fall for that. Yeah, I'm going to sell you the Agana Bridge. That's not going to happen. But every once in a while, you might get involved in a transaction with somebody for an actual piece of real property, real estate. And he says, I'm going to give you such a great deal on this property. And then you go through it and you find out that the guy didn't have title to sell it, didn't have clear title on anything. And you go, gee, it would have been great if I could have talked to somebody about this. You know what? You call Kim and Ron or any of the pros over at Security Title. That's what they do. Before any money exchanges hands, they go and make sure that the guy that is selling you the property is actually able to sell it to you, and he's got clear title on all of that. They do all kinds of other services at Security Title, providing solutions for complex real estate transactions.
Triple J says yes. Zero down? Yes. 1.9% financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. No payments for 90 days? Yes. We'll have you saying yes, too, to these amazing deals, like our big boy truck, the Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck, or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck, or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul, both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
Portions of the program brought to you by King's Restaurant, serving Guam favorites to families for over 40 years. King's Restaurant's always open and always local.
When the power goes out on Guam, the little things can become surprisingly big. Small comforts are often the things we miss most during a power outage. That is why Kohler built the fastest responding generator sets in the industry. Whether you are at home or away, a residential Kohler generator will enable you and your family to live life without interruption. Kohler gas, LPG, and diesel power systems are available from Morrico Equipment, LLC on EPAL Road. Call 649-1946. That's 649-1946.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Kevin Kerrigan will take care of the news part of that. I will take care of the talk part of that. We'll do a weather the traffic report here in just a few minutes, but I am starting to see lines of congestion in and out of Route 9 and Marine Corps Drive. That's generally the intersection to Anderson Air Force Base. Looks like we've got a little bit of a slowdown there. Don't see anything at the opposite side down in Sumai, but you are going to find some issues, as the governor calls them, around Marine Corps Drive. Not so bad on Marine Corps Drive. Looking pretty groovy, except over by the sports complex. For some reason, that's been building up over the last couple of days. Maybe prep here for the big Easter fair and egg hunt that will start at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Festivities starts at 2 o'clock, but the actual egg hunting begins at 3 o'clock. And a guy chimed in on the Facebook page. He said, Cascarones is that tradition that you were talking about.
Okay.
With the eggs in the head and the flour and the confetti and all of that stuff. Cascarones is what that's called in San Antonio, where you're right, the largest, a large Catholic community down there. 7:18 in the morning, and is it time to take a look at what happened on the markets? You might have heard them breathlessly say, oh no, the Dow Jones Industrial Average off again. It's up and down, and I'm not exactly 100% sure why it is. Might be the jitters. We're seeing it down by 344, almost 345 points today, closing below 24,000, 857. Is where the market ended up today. NASDAQ at 211 in the minus column to close at 7,008, and the S&P 500 2612. They're off by about 45 points. So this is the prediction for tomorrow. And unfortunately, the markets are closed, so it's not like you can jump in right now and do something. But you might want to get to your Ameritrade or whoever it is that you're doing online buying with. And if you've had your eye on a few things, take a look at who it was that led the minus column, because it is possible it has nothing to do with fundamentals. It's just craziness in the market, and you might be able to get yourself some really, really good deals on some of the equities. The Nikkei today closing up by 551 points. Congratulations, omerito, to the Nikkei Oh, I should Omerito Tomika. I actually have a fund that is tied to the Nikkei exchange. That's maybe a couple extra bucks in my pocket today. And if you're going to Japan, it's 105.34. If you're buying gasoline today, I cannot stress this. I'm surprised it didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, still holding though.
I'm waiting for it to go up. $71.31 for a barrel of tapas.
That's up
high.
another dollar something from yesterday.
It's up by
right?
86 cents from where it was yesterday. And it's just a matter of time. So I told you, and I'm guilty of not taking my own advice, right? I passed by the gas. I was at the gas station this morning getting coffee, right? And I probably should have had them put some gasoline in it while it's still $4.17 a gallon, because I've got a feeling it's going to be going up again. So take this as a warning that the tapas has been increasing pretty big bites over the last couple of days, and my guess is that the guys over at the gas companies are just waiting to push the button on this. So there you go. Anything big going on here in the other news markets that's worth talking about? GMC unveiling an off-road truck to take on the Jeep and the Ford Raptor. Well, you want to talk about a field that's getting a little bit more competitive these days, huh? Investment chief of $250 billion firm says financial markets are on a collision course for disaster. You've seen the market where it's been the last couple of days. For some guys, that is the disaster. All right, there's the only other thing that I think might be interesting to and worth talking about has to do with Roseanne going back on television, but I don't think I've got time for it right now because we got to do the extra point with Jerry Roberts.
I was going back over old notes and I came across an absolute gem that deals with how we should look at success and failure. I'm Jerry Roberts, and that's right now on the extra point. As the saying goes, success has 100 fathers, but failure is an orphan. Near as I've been able to learn, that proverb dates back to first century Greece. But it's as true today as it was back then. We all love success, and we jump on board the bandwagon to be a part of it. Yet, when failure happens, nobody wants any part of it. It's as if we'll be permanently stained by the fact we made some mistakes. What I found in those old notes is the perfect way to frame success and failure in any organization. Are you ready? Objectify failure, personalize success. We put a face on it when we win, we make it faceless when we lose. Failure becomes this lifeless, formless thing. A person isn't a failure. Failure is what happened to all of us. And let's go over the details and understand it. Let's make this a learning experience. And if you want to add a really interesting twist, the person at the center of the issue, the one people might normally label the failure, can get the spotlight and lead the discussion on what happened. Who better to do that than the one who experienced it firsthand? Even though things didn't work out, their input at this stage is valuable to aid understanding and to ensure the same mistakes aren't made the next time. That's how we frame failure. Now, let's look at success, and to get the organization's praise and recognition machine in high gear. And that they won't be the target of criticism, they'll be more aggressive in finding better methods to build success.
Twice the Jerry Roberts of any other radio station on Guam.
That's double. That's
That's an orphan.
Now, did we do that so that one channel was one Jerry Roberts episode and the other one was the other? Listen, this might be one of those cases where if you want to hear the punchline on this, you definitely have to go to GuamTraining.com and download the transcript for today's show. Not sure exactly what happened in there. It was maybe a little bit crazy in the production room the other day, but we'll square it away. And if need be, we'll get the rest of it on. Jerry
It's
Roberts.
those moments that make live radio so much fun.
Yeah, well, see, I was going to do the gag about, wait a second, he was talking about the line about success having 1,000 fathers going back to like the first century. So I disagree. I think Uncle Robert Underwood, that's the first time I ever heard it, was hearing Uncle Robert say it. So as near as I can tell, he's the author of that particular gem. Here at 7:24, be right back.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway. Make it what you want.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA-approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Viva Bank Pacific.
Yeah, that's where the thickness seems to be right now. Northbound to the front gate of Anderson Air Force Base, and then coming back through at the intersection there, southbound traffic might be slowing down for those of you that are coming in all the way around Route 9. Maybe some of you just want to keep going through to Stumbo and try to make your way towards the intersection of 1 and 3. Pretty clear through there right now. In fact, not seeing a whole lot happening until you get around the Dededo Sports Complex. If you're at the Ocean Vista, the 76 Ocean Vista, looking at Machechi Road, you might be in a line of traffic there, maybe a light, maybe two before you're able to get out, but not seeing any major buildup on any of the roadways that I'm looking at. 725, that's your traffic report here on The Point.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
And let's see now, who do I get to say good morning in the chat to? There's Jennifer Rose. Half a day. Uncle Joseph Peda is there. Andre Bainham, Bobby Taitanu. Half a day, Bobby. Long time there. Lynn Vicente, let me see, I got to get the name right. Lynn Vince Borja Polino. Ricardo Underwood. Hey, cuz. Bill Pettit. Jennifer Bedar. Ken Williams. Rhea Babalta Garrido. Did I already say Carl Gutierrez and Auntie Jerry are listening this morning? They're up there all the time. Melissa Akimoto, Bobby Stringy, another guy that's going to have an exciting day over at the chamber. They'll do some updates on the tax laws and some of the changes that have occurred in just the last week. And Bobby's about the right guy to do it. One of the other things I've been playing around with on Facebook, talking about the Abso. Abso, what are you doing there, Renee? Don't write that thing to me once. Talking on the radio.
Yep.
I'm reading the word here. It's I've never seen absolutely spelled like that. There's a few extra letters in the middle. It's a Texan word, I think.
That could be.
But anyway, so I was talking about how great it is to be 55 years old and doing some work over at the campus, at the utility campus out in Manilao, which needs more signs. Just FYI, I passed it. Had to hang a Yui. And there's no close spaces to hang a Yui down there. At any rate, so I'm in there, and you type the thing in, and it says, what kind of rate pay are you? And you're 55. I'm a 55-year-old ratepayer, and that's just awesome. And I didn't have to wait at all. But when I pressed the enter button, the lady on the other side said, William Gibson, which is my GPA name. And I was absolutely in groovy shape. However, not everybody likes the idea, and for good reason. Because dude, 55 is still young. I'm running marathons, baby. There's nothing. There's no reason for me to get to the front of the line and enjoy that kind of love. At least that's what some other people say. Mo Cotton writes in, whoever made that law pissed off thousands. 55 is still young. Nice to get into the movies at half price, but getting ahead of people who have been waiting sometimes hours seems ridiculous. Ray, you are still running, and I was still playing competitive tennis at 55. Our senators need to concentrate on things that matter, not on how they can get more votes. They must have found out that 1/3 of Guam's population is over 55. That's a lot of voters. You're absolutely right. Fed says that you are a senior at 62. That's more like it, but done is done. And that's the way it is. I don't know. I'm not gonna change. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be changing that. There's not too many places where kids like me from the class of 1980 get to the front of the line, but we've got it here.
Imagine me.
Yeah.
In 2 years.
Yeah.
I'll be 55.
Right.
I'm going to stand in that line. You know the looks I'm going to get.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. So, who's this hippie? Who is this old hippie? Get him out of here. All right, at bottom of the hour, coming up, we'll talk with Mark Mendiola from the Department of not the Department of Education, the Education Board. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference because they got the same haircut between him and John. At any rate, so we're going to be talking with him about a couple of things. But first, we got to jump into headlines, the Guam Daily Post, and Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7:30. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Governor Eddie Calvo reopening 2 fire stations yesterday, but he reiterated that the ongoing fiscal challenges faced by GovGuam mean that the furlough process for various GovGuam agencies will continue. The Estumbo and PD fire stations were reopened after being closed earlier this month in what the Calvo administration said was an effort to cut down on overtime costs in the face of a projected $67 million revenue shortfall in the wake of that tax reform legislation passed by Congress in December. The governor said he thinks it's still prudent to continue issuing those 90-day furlough notices to GovGuam employees as the administration continues to evaluate the fiscal situation of GovGuam. If any of those furlough notices actually take effect, it would reduce the work week for affected GovGuam employees to 32 hours from 40 hours. That translates into a 20% reduction in pay. Members of the Guam Fire Department yesterday testifying in support of a bill that would raise the cost of services and inspection fees provided by the Guam Fire Department. Bill 251 would impose charges on a number of fire and emergency services now provided for free. It would also significantly raise the cost of other inspection and licensing fees provided by the Guam Fire Department. Acting Fire Chief Darren Burrier said that the proposed fee increases are not a reaction to the current fiscal crisis. He said it's about raising our fees to a level that should have been addressed before now. The last time GFD raised its fees was back in 2007. Burrier said the new fees should bring in about $2.8 million annually for the fire department. 2 sisters have been charged on allegations of burglarizing a Sinahanya home. The homeowner told police that he encountered 18-year-old Cherry Marie Clara and 27-year-old Teresa Maria Crisostomo inside his home on Wednesday afternoon last week. One of them was holding a game console remote. When he confronted them, they fled. He then checked his home, noticed a large white trash bag on the floor filled with a number of his electronic devices, and then discovered that his bedroom window had been broken. According to court documents, Clara admitted to using a shovel to break the bedroom window and enter the home and then let her sister in the back door. However, Crisostomo denied being involved in the incident. She is currently on probation for theft as a third-degree felony. Clara and Crisostomo both charged with burglary as a second-degree felony. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think I'll do that. iConnect time in the studio here at 7:32. Hop on over to iConnect and receive a free gift, an automatic entry to win an iPhone 10 with every new 12-month plan. Now, this is going to be good until Easter. And so it's still going on today, though, is the point that I want to make. I know that everybody's busy. We got to buy eggs and color the eggs and make the house smell like adobo, even though there's not really any adobo because you use that vinegar stuff to make the egg thing with. Anyway, so you got to do all of that stuff. Make some time if you're looking for a 12-month plan. Great ones with iConnect and a chance to win an iPhone 10.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Okay, so is it Wendy's? Am I reading the Wendy's or am I doing the cold stuff? I'm good with either. I'm good with either because, you know what? I know of a major potluck that's going on today. Ooh. And if you are the one that is supposed to be bringing, like, the dessert for this major potluck, just make it easy on yourself, and you'll be the star anyway. Run. All right, Cold Stone Creamery. They got one at GPO. They got one over at the Micronesia Mall. And get a tub of the strawberry shortcake or the fresh lemon pie ice cream. Now, you could do that. You could do that, and that would be, that would be suitable. That would be adequate.
Right.
Or what you do, this is the pro tip here, have them mix in nuts and candies or the golden Oreo cookies in there, right? These things are blessed by a Maharaja in India, and then they put them in a special thing, and then they bring it out here. They're very rare. You can't just find these at Kmart. I don't care what Mike said. And so that's how you're going to be the hero of your potluck today.
Do you suffer from eye strain? If you work at a computer, follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds to reduce eye fatigue. Ensure you have the optimal prescription for your contact lenses and glasses. Early stages of common eye diseases typically have no symptoms and can only be detected with a comprehensive dilated eye exam. Call Lombard Health today to book an appointment at 989-4747. Guam's best eye care, one patient at a time.
I like that commercial. It starts off, do you suffer from eye pain? And I said, no, I enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah, okay. That was the wrong one. Very good. Yep. Not quick on the draw
That's
here.
all right.
How about this?
The time has passed now. I'm sorry, Jennifer's on, so I'm showing off. What have I got here? First Hawaiian Bank brings you portions of the program. First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
All right, outside of what I've already told you about, there is nothing new to report here. Maybe a little bit more traffic now moving out of Jigo on Marine Corps Drive, but smooth sailing right up until you get to about where Fatima Mobile is, and then we've got a line of traffic there that will keep you busy until you get to the intersection of Route 1 and Route 3. But even there, it doesn't look like it's going to be any crazier than it has been over the last couple of days, because it's spring break. And they just ain't that many more cars on the road, and that's a good thing. Should be able to get you to work and whatever it is that you're doing, Easter egg buying and all of that stuff, a whole lot faster. That's traffic on the point. Mark
Wendy's
Mendiola next.
welcomes the new Smoky Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger, featuring smoky sautéed portobello mushrooms, melted Asiago cheese, crispy applewood smoked bacon, and crunchy fried onions atop a juicy beef patty. For those craving the same great taste, Wendy's Smoky Mushroom Bacon Potato is also loaded with sautéed portobello mushrooms, cheddar cheese sauce, and crispy applewood smoked bacon. Here, for a limited time, get a delicious Smoky Mushroom Bacon Cheeseburger and Smoky Mushroom Bacon Potato today. Wendy's. Now that's better.
So I'm trying to sort out in my head what it's going to look like. What is the book that Yvonne Elliman is going to write about her 14 long days in jail? The Shawshank Redemption. Come on, help me out. What's the title of the book going to be? What's it going to look like? Will there be a character in there named Red? Hi, my name is Ray Gibson. Welcome to the program here on The Point. Lots and lots to talk about. Well, there's more to talk about than would normally be. It's Holy Wednesday, and people are beginning to ramp down on the official stuff and start to ramp up on all of the family and the gathering and the holy activities that are going to be taking place this week. It doesn't seem like it's been almost 40 days since Ash Wednesday, but here we are. At any rate, interesting conversations that I can always have with Mark Mendiola. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ramon.
It's a half a day on you. Always nice to hear from you. So have you decided which party you're going to run for if you're drafted?
Oh, you know, no. I'm in conversation. Folks, I'm very humbled by these folks reaching out to me, but right now I'm just focusing on the Department of Education and my family. So.
Oh, see, now you're saying all the right things. I'm very humbled. I'm very humbled. No, it's not. Come on, you know when it's just you and you close the door of the bedroom and go, yes! Yes, these people love me. I am the king of Guam. No?
No. My wife brings me back to earth.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Your wife brings you back to her, and the kids will bring you back to her. The kids go, "Who are you again?" You're the guy that gives us money and drives me to the mall. Otherwise, get out of here. Understand totally and completely. But it is kind of a nice thing when somebody thinks enough of you to actually go out and get some paperwork to nominate you, right?
Yes, it does. It does. And I got friends, and I don't know if they're really good friends if they want to put me through that.
We'll see what happens. So, Mark Mendiola from the Guam Ed Board, and I thought an interesting conversation that I saw bubbling up, and I guess now we're at the point where somebody's got to make a decision and make it go, right? And this is on the most controversial topic that there is now with the Guam Department of Education, and that is the conversation between the Department of Education and the mayors on who is supposed to be taking care of the zabao, cutting the yard at the schools.
Right. You know, we received a letter from the Mayor's Council Director, Mr. Sablan, basically saying that, public health, I guess they have other duties that they're going to be responsible for now.
Yeah.
The adult daycare, and they're asking us to basically, they're going to ask the legislature to consider giving us back the funding for maintenance. And they made reference that, we have a procurement office and we're able to do that type of work. And, I think initially when they started to take over the grass cutting, it was really to help them purchase equipment so that they can use equipment throughout the village, and then, work also to help with the schools. And so the last time we met with them, we asked the principals to meet with the mayors to talk about the scope of work, because I think it was never really clear, or nothing was ever put down in black and white. So I know that that conversation is occurring.
How is that possible? Back up here. How is that possible that we went as far as you get us money, we'll buy bush cutters and trimmers and axes and machetes and all of that stuff. We got to that point, but we never actually nailed down the nature of the relationship, how long it was going to last, what was going to be involved. How do we get through things around here without that basic stuff in a memorandum of understanding?
Right. I think I'm not too certain, but I just do know that principals change and mayors change, and so sometimes things get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
But I do know that we're trying to standardize it and put it in black and white, and then this letter came to us. So I know the superintendent, we're definitely concerned about it. We have great mayors that have actually assisted our schools in other areas other than grass cutting. And we just want to clarify what exactly we need to do to make it happen. And when I went before the Mayor's Council, I said, our kids are not looking for us adults for excuses. They want to make sure when they go in the playgrounds that the grass is not as high as their waist, or not losing any kindergartners in the playground because the grass is not cut.
Where's the kid? I don't know. We can't see him anymore. We lost the ball. It's been lost since the August. We can't find it because they haven't cut the grass.
Yeah, but since our conversation with the mayors, I got to say though that we've actually it's been more consistent, and the mayors now. But I'm not certain as to things that may have changed for them. I do know that we are going to meet with them at their council meeting, and we'll basically try and hash this out. And then the only one that can pretty much referee this now is going to be the legislature.
Oh, great! Why does this need to be a legislative thing? Can you just not go? Can you just go back and ask Mr. Sablan? Can we have the bush cutters and the machetes now? And we'll go ahead and hold on to them. DOE's got a maintenance office, and I know how busy those guys are. But in the very least, hold on to that stuff until you figured it out. Now, my own suggestion would be a takeoff on something that you and you went to Duenas?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you've never experienced justice under God?
No.
All right, so this is the way it would work, and I'm not going to call it free labor, but I'm not going to call it slavery either. Is you've got a bunch of kids that will screw up something, they'll get into some kind of disciplinary jam somewhere in any one of Guam's high schools. So we collect these guys up at the end of the day and say, all right, this is going to be your punishment. There's a bush cutter, and there's a machete, and there's an axe, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to the nearest middle school, we're going to go to the nearest elementary school and let them cut the yard.
Right. Yeah, these things are, it's interesting with that community outreach that we did. That was actually one of the suggestions that was put in the thing that, our community and folks get involved in cutting the grass.
No, I don't care about the community. I'm telling you that we need to be able to do something with these disciplinary jobs in the school and make it so that people don't want to get in trouble and will do their homework and will show up on school on time and won't cross the road outside the crosswalk at JFK because they're afraid if they do, they're going to have to go and zabal the edges of the lot at Tamuning Elementary.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll put that forth, man. I think I'll probably go to FD and ask them for their SOP.
It's easy. You just have somebody. You just have the teachers walking around with a piece of paper, and they just write down the names. And then there was a guy, the biggest, meanest, ugliest parapro in the school, who at the end of the day, right? The end of the day, you put it on. We'll make an app for it. We can make an app for it. And at the end of the day, you just bring everybody together and say, okay, you were in trouble. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and this is how we're going to dispense justice under Mark.
Right.
That's what we'll call it, justice under. And I'm totally saying, it sounds tongue-in-cheek, but I'm saying that we ought to be able to kill two birds with one stone because the solutions that you're talking about are still taxpayer-funded solutions. Yeah. And there's a lot of sweat equity I think some of these kids ought to be able to put into the campuses.
Yeah. You know, but if I'm not mistaken, Ray, I believe also that most of the grass cutting is actually outsourced to, the mayors have gone and got these companies out there to cut the grass at the school. And so, I mean, definitely you're absolutely right. It's taxpayer funded, and of course we try to get the best bang for our buck. But if we can use that happy labor and that free labor to defray some of the costs.
Oh yeah. It's like the courts, man. You get picked up on a DUI or something like that. We'll send you to the mayors, and you got to pick up trash. I mean, it's the same thing. And we could have the schools absolutely pristine. Absolutely pristine. I mean, we can do this all summer long too. We could make these kids work through the summer.
And actually, that's what I'm actually engaging with the superintendent, and especially for the Southern High School campus. That's a large campus. It's on wetlands, and we're trying to tackle all those issues down there, especially with the overgrown vegetation around the different fields and all that stuff. So we're going to try and get really, really active over the summertime to get the schools up to par, and then just put it on a
ready to open. On a related subject, because we're talking about taxpayer funding and things like that, and it looks like the paperwork from the governor's office has been accepted with conditions over at the legislature. They expressed those conditions, and Governor Eddie's going to find another $1.5 million to make it so that BJ doesn't write any more emails until after Easter. So once he is done with that. Question at the end of this is, where does that leave? Because they're still moving forward with furlough plans and things like that. But it seems to me, I'd read somewhere that you guys were going to put a halt on some of the savings attempts in the Department of Education. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, our superintendent last night, we basically gave him the authorization. We're uncertain about the actual number that has been being bounced back and forth between Adelup and the governor's office. So we're communicating with them, and we're just putting we have to have these discussions, put them in place in the event that things go become catastrophic and we're not able to. There's certain rules and regulations that we have to follow. So there are things that are put on the table. I created an ad hoc committee on the board that just specifically deals with the furloughing process and the delay of opening of schools. And so, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but in the event that, there's drastic cuts that needs to occur, we definitely have to. We're not certain also in terms of what that collections is going to look like. And I know we shouldn't be the tax policy or the collection areas, but the reality is we're a government agency and we depend on those funds to come through. And so, I'm trying to stay on top of it as much as I can, along with John's team. And, we don't want to be reactionary or have knee-jerk reactions when they say that we're not getting enough funding. I do know that the Speaker has proffered legislation to raise tax, I think, on the property side, and there's going to be a hearing on Monday. And what that's going to do is basically going to allow us to he's going to set aside funding, an actual funding source for the maintenance costs and at all the schools. So that's going to be a big help for us.
That's my understanding.
Yeah, and if that occurs, and rest assured, we also have to do our part and look at our attendance areas, redistricting that the department has to consider. with the opening of a charter school, and they took 2,000 of our kids and about $12 million of our budget, we got to look at the populations of the different schools and see if we're maximizing our resources there, and from there work it, But as funds come in, of course, that $12 million that we basically our initial first phase, I would like to go backwards and say, okay, these are the priorities that we're going to take off. It's going to be on a new priority to take off that list.
Did I hear last week that we're talking about putting another charter school together?
There was the charter schools. There was a conditional approval on 2 of them, and one of them, I guess, is in the pipeline, and they have their funding. I attended their hearing. I attended the public hearing on the roundtable that was held by Senator Castro, and the one science is fun is learning fun or something like that.
Yeah, like a STEM school.
Yeah, I do believe that they have the adequate funding to get them initially started, and not tap too much into local appropriations or the funding. But those are the plans that's being vetted by the Charter School Council. And I do know that Amanda Blas and her team, they're looking at ways to help fund and get support for their operations. Our superintendent handles 41 schools, and he's having to deal with these charter school issues that come up. And of course, our internal audit by law has to provide them feedback within 10 days. And so it's
here we go
on the Department of Education. And now that we're on a financial crunch, we're looking at everything and seeing how we can best maximize our resources, especially our people.
Well, we'll stay close together because between here and around summertime, we ought to start seeing what the impact of this increase in the GRT is going to mean for the government of Guam and by extension the Department of Education. But it's not just you in the game. There's still, I always ask this question. So when we start talking about the new school year, whenever it starts, I think all of that still has to hinge on what's happening with furloughs and any kind of 32-hour work weeks that they impose at the Department of Public Works across the street with bus ops.
Right. That's our stakeholders and our community partners, like you mentioned, DPW. That's a big, if we can't bus our kids to the schools, we can't operate the schools, the kids won't be there.
No, Mom and Dad can drive them.
Absolutely.
Mom and Dad can drive them. It's okay. We just, we worry too much about doing all of these things. I get it. It's nice that we've got the bus services, but you still, if the bus doesn't run, the kid still has to go to school. So we just have to make it so that we're driving our kids to school on Friday if it ends up looking like that. 9 away from the top of the hour. Mutkus, I'm going to let you run. What do you got planned for today? What's going to be the Ed Board headline tomorrow?
Right now, we're just trying to. We passed the policy last night on the ROTC program, so our kids are able to substitute some of that, and then we're also going to meet regarding our budget, and we're just going to keep on pushing forward.
So if I, instead of doing PE and I went into ROTC, then it's the same? I can do that?
Yeah, there's a certain requirements though. Some of the kids that are on the ROTC program, I believe they have to be in it for 2 years. And, the ROTC program has its rigor, and it also has a lot of physical elements to it, but there's other areas that cuts across different content areas. So it was vetted by the instructional committee, the principals, the students, and all the folks, and they had an opportunity to give input. And we passed a policy last night. So I look forward to basically seeing how this thing works itself out. But
I liked ROTC. The pants were cool. We got these old like baggy pants from the 60s.
Yeah, the one thing that was really interesting was this actually, when the Army ROTC program first came into DOE, they didn't have an Air Force JROTC, a Marine ROTC, or Navy ROTC. And that's one of the reasons why the policy had to be reviewed, because now the schools that have the different ROTC programs now are in line with the Army ROTC, credit substitute policy. So we just cleaned it up and made it a little bit more accessible for our
Yeah, it sounds like it's a little bit more equitable and level playing field across the board. I like that. So when are we going to get war games between the different ROTCs and the different schools?
Our ROTC program, man, they compete internationally, and hey, we got some really good things going on.
No, I know we do. Let's paintball. Let's do a paintball thing. We'll just section over the back of Teton.
Hey, just also while I got you, I want to congratulate our Chamorro department. We have Viva Mess Chamorro, and also our we call that a mock trial team from Okudu High School won the mock trial competition.
Hey.
And that was awesome. And that team, they beat the defending champs, Notre Dame, I believe. And we also have a public school student that won the spelling bee competition. So we're public school strong. Our kids are doing
Keep it up. Keep it up. Dude, I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Happy Easter to you if I don't get a chance to do it again.
Happy Easter.
Mark Mendiola from the Ed Board, the Department of Education, with kind of an update. And as I said, for me, it's a very interesting thing because of the time and expense and the whole conversation about who's cutting the yard over at the schools. And it seems to me, personally, I think it needs to be the responsibility of the Department of Education. If they had worked out a deal where they got money and then would give that to the mayors, and then the mayors would cut the yard and then use the equipment for something else, that sounded like what Larry used to call the win-win-win for everybody. The yard gets cut. The mayor's office has got some tools that they can use everywhere else, and DOE has this money that passes right through them, but they still get the job done. But in this case, where it doesn't look like they put together the right kind of paperwork or a hardcore agreement between them, it seems to me that this is one of those cases where let's go right back to the beginning here and say, okay, bring the equipment back to the school, and we're going to find people in the school that are able to cut the yard. And if it means that somebody's got to learn how to do a riding mower, then somebody can learn how to do a riding mower.
Forrest Gump did.
And he was an idiot. He was an imbecile.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
There's a lot of cheap labor just sitting on their butts watching TV at DOC.
But there's a lot of kids, and I'm sorry it works out like this, and I have to tell you again what a lousy student I was at Father Duenas. I may still hold the record for justice under God. I was doing it for 3 months, for heaven's sakes.
There's a plaque.
I was a bad kid. I was bad seed, and I was in trouble all the time. And I tell you what, that was one of the. I was in trouble all the time, and Sister Estelle, she'd just look at me and go, Jug. I said, for what? She says, you're going to do something. You're going to step out of line somewhere. I'm just going to tell you, Jug, right now. I'll see you at 3. I'll see you right after school. And that's just the way it was for me. And there are kids, they're just like me in the school, and the idle mind and idle hands are the devil's playground, so let's put them to work.
Look how you turned out.
Exactly, because I had all of those moments, all of those opportunities to fine-tune me into the human being that I would eventually become, eventually spending some time here with you in the morning. And for heaven's sakes, it doesn't need to be a taxpayer expense. It doesn't need to be something else that we foist on the taxpayers. You got kids that are acting up in school, mop the hallways and do some bush cutting outside, pull some weeds in the garden, grow a garden, do all of these things, and who knows, maybe they will come away with the same kind of feelings, the same kind of attachment to their schools that I do for places like St. Anthony's School in Father Duenas, where I attended for an excess of years, other than the prescribed years. 5-year man, what can I say? Closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning. So much to get through, so much to do, and an interesting story that brings up, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I love asking the what-if questions in this show. I love asking the what-if questions in this town. So here's my what-if question. Is Hush Schneider up in Saipan has proposed. Did you see that? He's proposing... this is brilliant. He's proposing gambling at the airport in the CNMI.
That's like Las Vegas.
Why not? Yeah. Why not? So here's the question that I have. Outside the perennial complainers, why could we not have a conversation about gambling at the Guam International Airport? In fact, at the arrivals, right upstairs in the arrivals, you come down there, those people are going to be there for 3 hours in a lot of cases because they run it like the worst banks in town. We have 18 teller lines and 2 tellers, and we got to take care of 500 people coming in on 3 different flights at the same time. And so these people are in there for a long time. About every 5 feet. How about a machine? How about a card machine or blackjack 21
or just
or something
a section
like that.
with several machines in it, like a lounge that they can go and
have
hang
somebody.
out.
I'd pay somebody to stand in line while I went and gambled. You could do the same thing on the outbound flights. I'm just saying. I think it's a great idea. I know we've talked about this in the past, and the idea that we would have one in the departure lounge to take whatever pennies that our tourists have left over from their trip and put into some kind of Guam use. What could the airport authority do with that? Are there any federal rules and regulations that we would be in front of? Just asking the question, what if? Huh? It's 8 o'clock in the morning on KUSG Hagutnya. The radio station is called The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. Fox News Live is coming up, and then after that, Mike is going to push some buttons and then get Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post up to read some news to you. That's ahead right here.
Wall Street whiplash. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. First it was up, then it was down. A late afternoon sell-off sent stocks sharply lower at the close. The Dow ending the day off 344 points as investors dumped stocks which were once market leaders.
Tech has led the way for these markets for so long, but boy oh boy, you start talking about regulation that could impact business models, that could impact earnings, and all of a sudden they're running for the exits. But it's not just tech today. We also saw the financials getting hit as we saw that 10-year yield on the Treasury actually breaking below 2.8%. In other words, there was a bond rally, a run to safety. That means lower rates, and that hurts the banks. So the banks also got hit and swept up in this big selling rush, if you like.
Ashley Webster with the Fox Business Network. The NASDAQ lost 211, the S&P off 46. Hours after it was learned a question about citizenship would be added to the next census, at least 2 states taking legal action.
New York is leading several states in a lawsuit against the Trump administration over adding a citizenship question to the 2020 census. California's Attorney General Javier Becerra says he is suing as well.
By including a citizenship question, which will diminish response rates, the census will not be able to fulfill its constitutional duty to count everyone.
He said many families will simply not answer the census questionnaire. The Commerce Department says they added it in, that the answers will provide citizenship voting age population data that will help enforce the Voting Rights Act, which they say protects minorities.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Remains found in a field in suburban Phoenix identified as belonging to a 10-year-old Jesse Wilson, who went missing nearly 2 years ago.
We are confident that we will solve this case, and we will take this information and go forward with it. We want justice in this case, and we need Jesse to have justice in this case.
Buckeye Detective Tamala Skaggs, Fox News, fair and balanced.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and Group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
The first court appearance for the former supervisor for disgraced sports doctor Larry Nassar. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, William Strample, the former dean of Michigan State University's College of Osteopathic Medicine, is the first to face charges since Nassar's conviction. Michigan Special Prosecutor Bill Forsyth says Strample failed to enforce safeguards with Nassar after an initial complaint, which would have included
requiring informed consent from patients prior to any examinations or procedures, and attendance by any other employee in the examination room with Nassar.
Strample was arraigned after the announcement. He was released on $25,000 bail, but will face a preliminary hearing in May, Lisa.
Gernal, Harvey Weinstein's former assistant says she tried to prevent him from abusing women 2 decades ago, and she claims she made him sign a legal agreement that required him to seek therapy and mend his ways. Zelda Perkins quit Weinstein's film company in 1998, along with a colleague who accused him of trying to rape her. Perkins is due to testify tomorrow before British lawmakers investigating workplace sexual harassment. A brand new statue of a rock icon vandalized.
Following David Bowie's death in 2016, fans raised more than $160,000 to fund what's believed to be the first statue of the singer. But 48 hours after its unveiling in Aylesbury, England, where Bowie first performed under his alter ego Ziggy Stardust, the statue has been vandalised. Pictures on the BBC show the phrase "Feed the homeless first" spray-painted on the sidewalk in front of it. Parts of the statue have been painted on. Some fans expressing sadness, although a local official tells Fox News a clean-up operation is already underway. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
60 Minutes wins the ratings race for the week of March 19th. The news magazine's interview with Stormy Daniels pulled in 22.1 million viewers. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
When you think about better water, think Kinetico softened water. Kinetico water conditioners work like no other, supplying a continuous flow of luxuriously soft water without disruption and without use of electricity. After all, better water flows from better thinking. Kinetico.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Did you know over 80% of all vision impairments can be prevented or cured? Naval Academy and Johns Hopkins University graduate Dr. Peter Lombard has performed thousands of sight-saving procedures in Guam since 2010. He specializes in cataract surgery and can treat your diabetic eye disease, glaucoma, and much more. From simple vision exams to complex surgery, Lombard Health proudly accepts all insurance. Call today to book an appointment at 989-4747. Guam's best eye care, one patient at a time.
This KFC chicken is great. Shrimp. Hey, who are you calling shrimp? KFC's new shrimp burger. It's great.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. Try our new shrimp burger and all our seafood items available this season. KFC Food Kelliquin, breaded shrimp, seafood salad, and of course, we can't forget your one and only favorite KFC original recipe chicken.
All right. I need to try KFC's new shrimp burger. Good, because you really are shrimp. Hey! A 5-7.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Wednesday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Governor Eddie Calvo reopening 2 fire stations yesterday, but reiterating that the ongoing fiscal challenges faced by GovGuam means that the furlough process for various GovGuam agencies will continue. The Estumbo and Piti fire stations were reopened yesterday after being closed on March 4th in what the Calvo administration said was an effort to cut down on overtime costs in the face of a projected $67 million revenue shortfall this fiscal year. Governor said he thinks it's prudent to continue issuing the 90-day furlough notices as they continue to evaluate the government's financial position. If any of the furlough notices ever take effect, it would reduce the work week for individual GovGuam employees to 32 hours from 40 hours, which translates into a 20% reduction in pay. Guam Medical Examiner Dr. Aurelio Espinola expected to conduct an autopsy today on the body of an Andersen Air Force Base airman who was found dead in his quarters early yesterday morning. Andersen Air Force Base Command confirmed that the airman was found unresponsive, pronounced dead about 3 a.m. Tuesday. An investigation has been launched to learn the cause of the death. 36 Wing Commander Brigadier General Douglas Cox called the death a terrible tragedy, saying, "We are all deeply saddened by the loss." The airman's name is being withheld pending notification of next of kin. We'll have more news after this.
Yes, money is something we should talk about and plan for and use to make life better. It's how we make our giant leap from where we are to where we want to be. So let's talk together and work together to check off shiny new kitchens, fully nested dorm rooms, and bucket lists with more countries than our passports can hold. Let's check them all off together. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Relax, enjoy, and be greeted by the spectacular view of Hagåtña Bay when you visit the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam. Gaze into the beautiful sunset as you unwind to the music of Philip Garcia and Natasha on Wednesdays, Mama Shar and Nina on Thursdays, Philip Garcia and Luis Muñoz on Fridays, and Jack Larimer on Saturdays. Open daily from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. with all cocktail drinks for $7. Receive a discount when you present your SPG card. Call Peter Yaban at 646-2222 for reservations at the point at the Sheraton Laguna Guam Resort.
10 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. Grammy Award-winning singer Yvonne Elliman Alexander and her husband, Alan Bernard Alexander, sentenced to 14 days in jail yesterday, stemming from their September plea agreement on felony charges of possessing marijuana and methamphetamine. Judge Vern Perez allowed the couple to do their time in Hawaii, where the couple lives. And the time doesn't have to be served all at once. It can be served during business hours, according to the court order. The Alexander's attorney, Mike Phillips, asked for probation, saying the couple had completed everything they were ordered to do by the court in the plea agreement signed last September, including performing community service and drug therapy. However, Judge Perez denied that request, saying 0 time would not be appropriate. This is a serious crime, he said. 2 sisters have been charged on allegations of burglarizing a Sinahanya home. The homeowner telling police that he encountered 18-year-old Cherry Marie Clara and 27-year-old Teresa Marie Crisostomo inside his home on Wednesday afternoon last week. One of them was holding a game console remote. When he confronted them, they fled, and he checked his home, noticed a large white trash bag on the floor filled with a number of electronic items, and discovered that his bedroom window had been broken. According to court documents, Clara admitted to using a shovel to break the bedroom window and entering the home. She then opened the back door to let Crisostomo in. However, Crisostomo denied being involved. She is currently on probation for theft as a third-degree felony. Clara and Crisostomo both charged with burglary as a second-degree felony. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Put everything away. Don't leave anything outside that the thugs can use to break into the inside of the house. That's all there is to it. Here comes the weather. Fire weather watch in effect through this evening. And my buddy Patrick Fleming had posted up, reposted some video of firefighters up at Turner Road yesterday battling a blaze that was literally within 20 feet or so from somebody's house. Wow. And I'm going, wait a second. No, don't put out the fire. Let the tangan burn, because I don't want to have to cut that myself. Just go ahead and let it burn up to, don't let it come to my house, but go ahead and burn it so I can enjoy the view again. Small craft advisory for local waters due to some of these winds. Be careful out there. Partly sunny and breezy with isolated showers today. Mostly cloudy tonight. Easterly winds up to about 25 miles an hour. Expected daytime highs today will be 88 degrees and overnight lows 77 degrees. Sunset tonight, and with all the burning that's going on, and all the particulate that's in the air, should be some gorgeous sunsets tonight.
Be nice. Mm-hmm.
Go find one at 6:32 p.m. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
Portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at Security Title. What's the big idea with Security Title? Well, if you're going to buy something, it's important to know everything there is to know about that property. And these guys know how to do the research going back hundreds of thousands of years. They can take it back to the Egyptians. Probably a little bit too much exaggeration on that. Hey, listen, when you just need to make sure that you bought that you owned the property you think you just bought, Security Title.
At GTA, we believe you deserve better than home internet with hidden data fees. That's why all our internet plans are unlimited, because streaming your favorite shows while cooking dinner shouldn't cause indigestion when the internet bill comes. So the choice is yours. Bill's shock with the other guys, or a life unlimited with GTA. Say goodbye to hidden data fees and make the switch today. GTA, your island, your network.
For over 40 years, King's has been feeding Guam's favorite meals to Guam's favorite families, including yours. Always open and always local, King's Restaurant.
Are you a veteran or on active duty looking for a home loan and VA eligible? Then Bank Pacific stores are open to you, where we are a VA approved preferred lender. That simply means we can give you faster credit approvals and loan closing. And with today's super low rates, you just can't go wrong. Bank Pacific's My VA Loan, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, credit conditions apply. Eva Bank Pacific.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
You guys, there's not a one of you in here that's doing your job this morning. I just want to say that right now. I keep Nate. All of you need to be reminding me about things like our online poll at thepoint.gu.
888-TALK.
All right, so I've got a new poll question online at thepoint.gu. First, let me tell you about the last poll one that I may or may not have mentioned in the last week. Who will win the Republican primary? There's only one choice, and so Tenorio, the team of Tenorio Ada, gets 100%. Congratulations. There, Ray.
I pity the person that got the answer wrong on that.
Well, there's no wrong answer. I left it so that there was no.
Oh, but you know someone got the wrong answer.
Eventually, and somebody couldn't make their way to the site. So I've got a new question. And hold on just a second. I'll bring it. So in the last couple of days, I've been making a big deal about this.
This is funny.
Well, it's indoor sports, is what it is.
Right.
So here's the thing. You go to the point.gu, and as I've said over the last couple of days, I don't see why anybody needs to vote for Ray in the upcoming primary. I mean, we need to get 4% of the people need to vote for Ray. I think between him and his these people that work for him, Lakeisha, etc., they'll be able to get the 4% to make sure that he advances to the general by law. So what the idea is for the Republicans, and I'm going to be the only one that actually says it publicly. This is the Republican plan: is to go in there and vote for the weakest Democrat and have that person, those people, go to the general election. You see what I'm saying?
I do. That's a good strategy from,
right? So
from the other side.
You have Ray versus the weakest guys running for the Democratic office. Here's the question. The question is, which is the weakest of the Democratic gubernatorial teams? And you can vote on this right now. In fact, I want you to tell all of your supporters to go to the point.gu and make sure that that your team. This is like bowling. You want to have the lowest score here, not the highest score. So the question is, which is the weakest of the Democratic gubernatorial teams? Frank and Alicia, Lou and Josh, Gutierrez Bradallo, or Dennis and that guy?
That's my pick. He doesn't even get a name. That guy. I'm gonna guess.
I forgot.
I don't know it. The thing is, I passed about 3 of those. I passed 3 of those billboards going home, and where I live is the billboard bunker. That's what I call it.
Yeah,
and that's because there's been a habit of putting billboards on top of my roof. I look out of my shower window. And there's a Lou and Josh billboard looking right in my shower window. There's usually a Dennis Rodriguez billboard right atop of my house. The Congresswoman's billboard has been bolted to my roof, and there was a floodlight installed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez, where do you live?
Well, I just explained. If you know what I'm talking about, you know exactly where I live.
Now we know. Yeah, now we know where you live. Although I'm sure there are other vistas that have exactly the same thing. It's 8:17 in the morning, and guess what? That is time for Sports on the Point.
Dun, 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 dun.
So it seems to me that the big headline tomorrow on sports is going to be who found the golden eggs at the big deal today, the annual Easter Fair and Egg Hunt that will take place up at the Sports Complex in Datadoo.
Sports Complex. I was going to go to that one, but I am gonna. There's 2, and I'm going to go to the smaller one. and in my village. I'm going to go to my village Easter egg hunt.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Shout out to the mayor.
There's usually thousands of people at this one, right?
Yeah, and my neighbor works for the mayor, mayor's office, so I know some of the mayor, I know the mayor, some of his workers and stuff. So, go out there, support, hang out with some of my buddies. And
nice.
And let because, my daughter's young. It'll be her first actual independent egg hunt.
Right. I've got a niece that's the same thing. This is the thing about our family is if we go to one of these things and if your kid takes the egg from my niece's basket, there's going to be gunplay. I'm just telling you right now. So it's better we go to some of the smaller events.
Oh yeah. By the way, they're deadlocked with the weakest of the Democratic gubernatorial terms. According to the people, it's deadlocked 50-50 with Dennis and that guy and the GB ticket.
I didn't.
I just like because I
haven't refreshed it yet.
I'm an OCD. I'm kind of OCD, so that visually that's very appeasing that it matches up. It lines
up. It looks like
up.
a flag.
Yeah, it looks like a flag. Yep. But anyway, so I got a few sports notes as fourth quarter has kind of squeaking through. The FD Friars picked up an opening day boys volleyball win over the Harvest Eagles, 25-13, 23-25, and 25-16. Aiden McDonald had a 14 kill, and that's a kill in volleyball night. And Logan Pangolin, also a standout. And meanwhile, the defending champion Indy Royals, led by Bree LG, started their season off by beating the Academy Cougars, the mighty Academy Cougars.
Yes.
8-1.
Ever since.
In soccer. Man, that's a bad... If it's soccer, 8-1.
8-1.
That's pretty much getting your butt kicked.
Yeah, 8-1.
There's whole seasons where teams don't score 8 points total.
I've seen a basketball game where the team only scored 5 points. Wow. That was basketball.
Wow.
55-5.
Right, so a little bit tricky out there. And anything else? What can we look forward to over the weekend? So we're in the Final Four. When does that championship end?
The Final Four this Saturday. It goes on this Saturday as far as the NCAA. So after, once March concludes, you will no longer hear about any college basketball. It's kind of I like college basketball in the sense of it's kind of like the Olympics. You don't really pay it. Nobody pays it. Even sports people don't pay attention to it.
Until it's there.
Until the bracket. Yeah.
So and usually that'll even wait until the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
And then it's like, we got basketball we're playing.
I don't start paying attention until the Elite 8.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm too busy wrapped up with the Frozen 4.
So
you know the Frozen Four?
No.
That's the NCAA men's hockey tournament.
Nope. Completely lost on me. Hey, kid from Guam. We didn't have any ice skating rinks when I was growing up, so this is not one of those things that I've got a whole lot of institutional knowledge on.
Yeah.
I didn't even learn about soccer until I was a freshman in high school. Swear to God.
Really?
Absolute truth.
Huh.
Absolute truth. We didn't have soccer in school, and we had a Spanish teacher. His name was Don Pedro, and the old timers listening to the show know exactly who I'm talking about. He was a guy came here as a troubadour, restaurateur, and next to. Every once in a while you'll see it over at the PIC on one side of the PIC, not PIC, but I guess in between PIC and Pac Star, there used to be a restaurant. The restaurant was called Holly Kai, but before that, I want to say it was Don Pedro's place, and he was they served Spanish fare down there. And you got to think this is Guam and Tumon in the 1970s. There wasn't anything down there except a couple of hotels. So it was kind of an interesting thing that this guy did. So he did that. And he was also a Spanish instructor at Father Duenas Memorial School.
Wow.
And so he started teaching the kids at PE because it's got boundless energy. And so during PE, he taught us all how to play soccer. And the most important thing is what to do when somebody mistakes your groin for the ball, which apparently will happen in a game, as you might understand.
Happens.
A little bit more than that, but he was a great guy. I gotta tell you, among the other things that he did with I don't know where he found the time, but this is 1975, 76. Major drug problem here on Guam. There's a bunch of they'd shut down the Delta, and there were all these drug killings and things like that, and guys that couldn't get their drugs anymore, and he'd take care of them. He would
take them in?
Yeah, he'd take them in and help them through those 24, 36, 48 hours where you got to get loose. Just a terrific guy. And one other piece of trivia about him, and I don't even know if there's a lot of Guam people that know this, but Game of Death with Bruce Lee.
Yes,
he was in it.
Is that the one where they fought in the Coliseum?
It's the one where they fought in the Coliseum, but before they get to the Coliseum, it's Bruce Lee, and he's got to take on a band of thugs.
Right.
One of the guys was Don Pedro.
Really?
Yes.
I wonder where that was filmed.
Probably Hong Kong.
Okay.
I think that was filmed in Hong Kong. But anyway, there's a great story about the guy, and I forget why we brought it up.
Because we're talking about soccer.
Okay,
and
good.
we're talking about we're talking about.
Well, you were challenging me on why I didn't know about soccer until I was 14
yeah,
years
you told
old.
me this, and now
love being the goalie.
And this is my last one because we have a story here, fellas. Yes. Members of the Tsunami Swim Club returned in triumph after a successful showing at the Saipan International Swim Meet held March 23rd to 24th.
Tsunami, yeah.
7 swimmers from the Tsunami Swim Club Guam joined the event, which featured 9 total clubs from Guam, 2 from Saipan, 1 each from Ponape, and on that team, Tsunami Guam was led by 2 standouts, 16-year-old Samantha Hahn and Jimi Hendrix.
Huh?
Not J-I-M-I Hendrix.
Nice.
Yes. Young swimmer, 16-year-old Jimi Hendrix on that team. That's really the only reason we're doing this story here. But they finished with the most points in their very competitive divisions. After the 2-day meet, each swimmer entered 10 events. And Hahn won 88 points, and she had a second-place finish and also got an unexpected bonus in the 1,500-meter freestyle. But all in all, successful event for them.
And Jimmy played a really nice solo.
I bet, yeah. It's a Star Spangled Banner. Now, do they have is there a Jungle Rules version of this where, if the guy's beating you, you can grab him by the leg and put him back and then put their head underwater and then zoom ahead? No?
I don't think so.
Just checking.
It would have made the Summer Olympics in Beijing a lot more
that's
entertaining.
Not part of the actual rules?
I would watch somebody do that to Ryan Lochte every race if that was a rule.
8:24 in the morning, and the one thing I'm going to leave you guys with here, because I know that we're all looking for something that will make our lives better, will improve our lives, and here it is. I was talking yesterday about the idea of not giving kids homework anymore. Right? Between 1st and 6th grade, they've done studies, and all of the studies keep coming back and saying the same thing. There's nothing wrong with cigarettes, and thought I'd toss that in.
Yeah.
See if you're awake. So
what is this, 1947?
You don't have any problems with there's no benefit to assigning a kid homework. And you and I are the same kind of guy. It's just another thing for parents to get in a fight, for the kids to stress over, and it just isn't worth it. There's no positive upside to assigning the kids homework after they've been in school sometimes for as long as 6 whole hours. So they're up in Canada, they're doing away with it. Another study, this one here conducted by, you might say they were biased, but the International Play Equipment Manufacturers Association survey. They asked 500 elementary school teachers about the attitudes of their school kids' behavior after recess. And as you might guess, 81% of U.S. teachers say kids' behavior changes positively after recess.
I think that there's a lot to that. I think I think that the whole being active and like living an active lifestyle. I mean that helps cure depression. It just puts you in a better mood.
Well, it's just nice not to be in class all the time.
They're exhausted after recess, so they're not making any trouble.
Right. I'm thinking, what we ought to do is we ought to have recess after every class.
I think so. Those passing periods make them 30-minute recess periods.
Smoke breaks.
Yeah, there you go.
Send them
Should have full days of recess between days of school.
Right, the kids wouldn't be home until midnight.
No.
So, I just, I'm always thinking, guys. I'm always thinking. But think about that, and this is why it's so vitally important. And there is something to this. We had at St. Anthony's School, we're happiest school years of my life. St. Anthony's School, we had a couple of classes in the morning, and then we would file past after art class or something. Like it's a real class. We'd file past this area that Sister had set aside so that she could sell us bread and a thing of milk and that was nice. And anything more than about 25 or 30 cents worth of spend, but you got a few extra minutes to eat that before you got to your next class. So we consider that kind of a recess period. Then you've got your lunchtime period and all of that. So the point is, educators, Mark Mendiola and John Fernandez, I know you're listening. I know your minions are listening. So let's see if we can incorporate more of those kinds of things to make our children happier, healthier, and they stay at school longer.
I think so. Even maybe a 3-day weekend, standard.
With the money situation, it may actually come to that. 8:27 in the morning. That's Blake Watson. He does sports. My name is Ray, and Kevin and Mike just laugh along at our jokes. We'll be back. I'll be back after these.
Chili's has the seafood you crave, the flavors you love, at a great price with our 3 for Me Lent menu. For just $15, you can get a beverage, fresh salad, and a Lent-friendly entree. First, choose from a refreshing Coca-Cola, iced tea, or Heineken on draft. Then enjoy a fresh house salad right before you indulge in your choice of a mouth-watering entree, like our spicy shrimp tacos, savory Cajun pasta with shrimp, or our flavorful grilled ancho salmon. Chili's 3 for Me Lent menu for just $15. Available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
You keep asking for traffic. There's nothing traffic now. There's just a little bit coming out of Route 9 southbound at the intersection of Anderson Air Force Base, and a little bit of a snag getting into Sumai, Big Navy. And what else is going on there? Is there anything really worth talking about? No, not at all. Just enjoy it. If you get stuck in something, trust me, it's going to be a light, maybe 2. I'm not seeing any accidents or fender chrome French kisses or anything like that. So just enjoy the ride for what it's worth and enjoy your Holy Wednesday morning. That's traffic here on The Point.
Triple J says yes. 0 down? Yes. 1.9% financing? Yes. Easy trade-in? Yes. No payments for 90 days? Yes. We'll have you saying yes, too, to these amazing deals. Like our big boy truck, the Ford F-150 at only $217 per paycheck. Or the top safety pick Mazda CX-5 Sport at only $194 per paycheck. Or turn heads in the Mazda 3 Sport or the sleek and sophisticated Kia Soul. Both for only $129 per paycheck. Visit us online at triplejguam.com. Some conditions apply. See dealer for details. Triple J, customers first.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Now, we probably should have just gone straight into the news music here because it's already that time, 8:30 in the morning, and I know he doesn't want to go to his real-life job. I know Kevin would rather stay here with you and I and goof off all morning long in the studios of The Point, but man's got to do what a man's got to do, and right now the man's got to do headlines. Here's Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point, 32 minutes past 8 a.m. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post, Governor Calvo ordering his fiscal team to make an additional cut in the fiscal realignment plan of $1.5 million. That following objections raised by Speaker Benjamin Cruz Monday over an apparent shortage in the $30 million in budget cuts required by the new tax law. The Speaker pointing out that a $1.5 million increase in the GMH Pharmaceutical Fund reduced the total budget reduction to $28.5 million. To make sure there's no technical issue to prevent the new tax law from taking effect on Sunday, the governor said he's ordered BBMR to make an additional $1.5 million cut to ensure no further questions can be raised about the new tax law that begins on Sunday, with a 1 percentage point increase in the business privilege tax. Members of the Guam Fire Department yesterday testifying in support of a bill that would raise the cost of services and inspection fees provided by the Guam Fire Department. Bill 251 would impose a charge on a number of fire and emergency services now provided for free. It would also significantly raise the cost of other inspection fees provided by GFD. Acting Fire Chief Darren Burrier said the proposed fee increases are not a reaction to the current fiscal crisis. He said it's about raising our fees to a level that should have been addressed before now. The last time GFD raised its fees was back in 2007. An evidentiary hearing has been scheduled for Save Guam, Inc.'s efforts to overturn the Guam Land Use Commission's approval of the controversial Pago Bay Ocean Resort development. Superior Court Judge Arthur Barcinas ordering both parties to appear before the court on April 26 to present their arguments. Lacia Casil said that they've been waiting for 2 years. She is confident now that the outcome will be in their favor. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Oh, I'm pointing at Mike. I realize I'm supposed to do something here. iConnect time now is 8:32. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
Special things only come around once a year, and it's time for fish fans to celebrate the return of Wendy's Cod Filet Sandwich. Wendy's uses the gold standard for fried fish, wild-caught Northern Pacific cod, breaded with panko crumbs to a light crisp. Add a new creamy dill tartar sauce and crisp pickles, and you've got the fish sandwich many say is the best of the bunch. Get yours today at Wendy's, located in Tamuning, Veragata, Agana, Dededo, and Naval Base. Wendy's Cod Filet. Now that's better.
When the power goes out on Guam, the little things can become surprisingly big. Small comforts are often the things we miss most during a power outage. That is why Kohler built the fastest responding generator sets in the industry. Whether you are at home or away, a residential Kohler generator will enable you and your family to live life without interruption. Kohler gas, LPG, and diesel power systems are available from Morico Equipment LLC on Epal Road. Call 649-1946. That's 649-1946.
Every time I travel, there's something from home that I can't leave without. I take my Docomo Pacific Data to Go to share my stories in Taiwan, check subway routes in Tokyo, be my food guide in Hong Kong, meet new friends in the Philippines, make updates in the States, find my way around Korea, and check out all the cool shows in Singapore. It's the data I have in all the places I love for only $10 a day. Data to Go from Docomo Pacific. Better together.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
$7 meal from Circle K. Get your choice of 2 Nathan's all-beef hot dogs or a half-pound Nathan's all-beef footlong, a big wrap bag of chips, and any size Polar Pop. That's a giant deal of a meal, all for only $7. Circle K. Take it easy.
So I'm the guy that goes on the radio and tells you there's no traffic, and then all of a sudden, bam, starts to open up. Route 10 Alpha coming out of the Guam International Airports. It's that one section just before you get to Home Depot. You might see a little bit of a snag through there over by Kafu Court on 27 Alpha, right? You follow the road that takes you through Fatima all the way over to the mall. You might see some issues through there. And let me see here. Where's this? Over by Malakuti's place. Again, looks like it's beginning to back up. 8:35 in the morning. Hey, guess what?
That's what happened yesterday afternoon.
What's that?
It waited until the last minute.
And
it's like at about 5:30. Then all of a sudden, boom! It's like everybody left at once.
Because they have to go to the Payless and find the eggs. And the little, what is it, German or Dutch company that makes the egg coloring kits. And you get home and you open up the door and the house smells like adobo and your mouth starts watering. We're having pork adobo with rice tonight. I love this time of year. And then you get through it, and no, we're not actually doing that. And it's just, it'll slow you down, make you crazy. All right, so where are we? 8:36 in the morning. Very close, very dear personal friend, Joe St. Augustine on the line, but not Senator Joe St. Augustine. Did I get that right? Quick.
Hey, Ray, you there?
I'm here. Are you there?
Yeah, hey, thank you, Ray. Thanks for taking my call. No, it's not the senator. It's actually the director for the Guam Veterans Affairs Office.
Oh, that one. Hey, Hafalai, what? If it's for the vets, the answer is yes. What do you need?
And thank you very much. I just want to put an announcement out, an event that's taking place tomorrow, the 29th of March at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. At the Vietnam Veterans of America Chapter 668 headquarters. This is 105 Vietnam Veterans Highway in Manila. It's the Coban there right on the corner of the Santa Teresita Church.
Can't miss it. It's got the guns. The guns are ready to go. I know some of the guys actually got ammo for those things.
Yeah, I tell you, a lot of work was put into that gun to remove the rust and paint it and make it look presentable. But God bless the folks that did that. So anyways, we're actually celebrating a Vietnam Veterans War Commemoration ceremony tomorrow for all the Vietnam veterans who served in Vietnam, and also appreciation for their family. So this event actually is supposed to take place every year on the 29th of March. And the big thing behind it is it's a national, so all 50 states and territories are going to be conducting the same commemoration ceremony, just putting the word out there to let the Vietnam vets and their family, let them know that we thank you for their service and their sacrifices during the Vietnam era. So if I could put that out, and if you could help me put it out.
Oh, yeah. Do me a favor. Have somebody send me the WhatsApp or an email, raygibsonshow@gmail.com. And we're going to be on the radio again tomorrow morning. So just call in and remind the guys again, right? You got to look out for your brothers, watch their sixes. And if there's a party, for heaven's sakes, make sure everybody knows about it.
Yes, exactly. So this is a national event that we're looking forward to a really successful event tomorrow. So I thank you, Ray.
What do you need? I mean, do the guys need to bring anything?
Well, you know, what's happening there is we're actually having some folks from different organizations bring, you know, food and snacks, cookies, and all that stuff.
Okay.
But, you know, coming from our office as a representative of the Veterans Affairs Office, the crew and I are putting out, you know, some dish also so that we don't work the Vietnam vets. We just want them there and their family to enjoy the event.
So Joe, just a real quick thought here while I'm going over this. We're talking about your brothers that went to Vietnam, and God love the ones that came back and were able to put together a family. And unfortunately, and I'm gonna say this, and you'll think immediately, and we're probably gonna be thinking of the same guys. So many of these guys have passed in the last few years. Would it be appropriate for their spouses, their widows, and their kids to come by?
Yes, absolutely. This is really to acknowledge them and let them know that we do recognize the sacrifices that they went through, and also, Ray, we want to make sure we don't forget that the family also have endured a lot of hardship when their family member was deployed, right, for months and years. But it is
well, and sometimes the things that they came home with, different things of PTSD and different things that have affected them different ways. All of these things that the families had to learn to deal with, and through all of these years may still be dealing with.
Oh, and you're absolutely right. And so tomorrow we're hoping that our guest speaker, our keynote speaker, which is a retired Marine Colonel Danny Santos, would elaborate on many of those effects. I know I will be doing a very brief piece of it based on what I know has happened and are still happening to these folks. It's been a challenge, Ray, and I apologize for pausing a lot because it hurts me that these people are still going through a lot of suffering. And it's almost impossible to reach out to them and help them if they do not come into my office and seek for that help. So what we've been doing since I'm taking over is going out to villages, looking for these folks that, Ray, it's not a normal thing when you send somebody off to a war zone and you see a friend of yours or just even the enemy. It's not normal to see a dead person with their guts, and so those kind of things that affects them, we as family members that don't understand the trauma that these people have gone through, those are the things that we need to reach out to the family to and help them and let them know that they need to continue to support the veterans. But on the other side, Ray, the families are suffering too, just trying to understand this difficulty.
And as I say, after all of these years, some of those wounds have never ever healed. And sometimes the only thing that helps is to get together with the guys and talk about it, to hash all of that stuff out. One other thing, and kind of an unrelated but related subject here, if you don't mind. There used to be a bunch of guys that would go back, a bunch of the old A-team guys that would go back to Saigon about this time of year every year. Do they still do that? Are there still a bunch of guys that are going on that trip?
Absolutely. And I think Tom Devlin, he's the leader of organizing that. So I think they did a couple months ago, if I'm not mistaken. They did go to Saigon and several of the other places where the significance of the event had taken place.
Yeah, well, I've always threatened to go with them, and one of these years I might just. So maybe I'll see if I can wrangle up with Tom Devlin. In fact, I'm sure he'll be there tomorrow. What time is everything again?
So this is at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also having all the active duty generals and admirals and commanders there. The governor definitely will be there. The legislature, the senators, and all the mayors are invited to attend. So I'm looking forward to seeing these folks actually go up to the veteran and their family and say thank you for your service. And if there's anything that we could do for you and your family, we're here for you. Because you're right, Ray. There's plenty of suffering that it's not going to heal. It's going to go on.
I hear that, and there's certain veterans, and as I said, some of the ones that I always think about, sadly, are gone. Dave Sasai and Johnny Gerber, and there's so many other the guys that we've known all of these years. So I'll be happy to talk about this. Don't forget, give me a ring tomorrow morning, anytime before the event, and I'll get you some more airtime for this. All right?
Okay, Ray.
Okay, Joe.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everything you do.
Like I said, if you just need to say vets, and then just the answer is yes, whatever you need.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, thank
okay, Migo. I'll talk to you pretty soon. It's 8:45 in the morning, the Ray Gibson Show here on The Point, and another cause that is worth celebrating. I got to be careful how I say this. Is a gathering to celebrate the life of one of our favorite son of a beaches, and Jeff Pleadwell is on the line. Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good morning, Ray. I'm doing great, thank you.
Happy almost birthday.
Yeah, my birthday's April 2nd.
So what is that? Monday next. We're going to be having a party though in celebration. When?
You got your invitation, right?
I got.
Okay, it's Sunday.
Wow. Didn't we used to, I remember once upon a time it would be Easter Sunday, and we would be having a big, gigantic Battle of the Bands over at Pirates Cove. In fact, the original Battle of the Bands were done down there.
That's right. We did that successfully, especially the 7th year. And then the 8th year, we were stabbed in the back and had a War of the Bands at Titty Drama. And I lost my shirt for 2 years, so I quit doing it.
All right, that's too bad. Well, there's other things that have taken place there in the meantime and in replacement of those events. It kind of goes with the aging of the crowd, if you will. Sometimes we're doing big knockdown, drag out, rock and roll parties over at the beach, and then every once in a while, hey, let's have a art show. Let's do arts and craft. Arts. You don't need as much security for an arts and craft show as you do for a Battle of the Bands, right?
Yeah, arts and craft shows now is great. Michelle Pierre is the one who does most of the work for that. But doing big events anymore is very risky, so I'm very much afraid of it. Yeah. After 39 years of exposure, I'm better off just to provide the best cheeseburgers and atmosphere and make everybody happy.
Yeah. You watching the political scene here? You watching the different races going on between the 4 Democrats and the Republicans?
Yeah, I told you I'm running as a write-in for governor, so they don't even have to worry about that.
Should I put that down in a poll or something? Would you support it? Wouldn't be the first time that you had thrown your hat in the ring for political office.
That's true, Ray.
I'm going to put that on the curricula vitae.
I'm not going to campaign.
Well, you don't need to.
Campaigning here is demeaning.
People come to you for that.
Yeah, people know what I'm all about, and they know that what I really want is everybody on this island to have a good government, and it isn't happening.
Well, I wanted to make sure that I got to be among the first that could wish you a happy birthday that is going to be coming up. A lot of people don't realize the contributions that Jeff Pleadwell has made over the course of his life and all the different places he's been able to do that. I have a recording of my father at KUAM. And it's 100 years ago, and in this recording, there is a promo, I want to say, for a program that you did. Was it the Country Corral? Do you remember?
I don't know. I was on You know, I did radio for a while.
I'm sorry, it's old ancient history stuff here. Well, all right. Like I said, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and thanks very much. I did get the paperwork. I just wasn't sure how many people you wanted me to share that with.
Well, we're having a buffet for the public. You know, it's $50 for the buffet. It's Alaskan king crab and $20 for kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
you're on the list, buddy. You got no problem.
Well, I appreciate that. I was thinking about maybe rolling down there and seeing if I can get my answer. Because you like, and I agree with you, I think among the best cheeseburgers on Guam is over at Pirates Cove. But you've also got a delightful fried parrotfish.
Yeah, and I also have a great Mexican chef now, Jose. And he does the best quesadillas and Mexican omelets and tacos and fantastic Mexican food.
Gotcha. And the last thing is, how's the weather down there? I haven't had a chance to take a look at the website today. How's everything down there on your side of the island? They tell me it's been rough.
It's breezy and rough, and that's why people need to watch for these man-o'-wars. I have a group here right now, and all the kids ran down to the beach right away, and I'm trying to tell them, watch the blue bubbles. Don't touch them.
Don't touch the blue. Put some hurt on you. Ruin your trip to Guam. All right, my friend. I'll talk to you pretty soon again.
So, hey, I just want to mention that my sister Sally and Gail and my son and Stephen and Barbara from Hawaii are all here. So what I really want is for their classmates and their friends to come down here Sunday and see them, because many times they come to Island at different times, and everybody says, "Oh, I didn't get to see."
Oh, but everybody's here now.
So they're all here.
Got it. Okay, so
anybody who would like to see them, please come down Sunday and visit with us and have a good time.
So it's a Pleadwell reunion, among other things.
Yeah, I'm going to be 70, and I don't want a big checking out thing when I die. I just want to have a good time right now. So.
But everybody else,
mainstream.
What everybody else does their checking out down there. I did Joe's, and we did both Joe's. Joe Murphy and Joe Cunningham had their checkout parties there.
I've thrown a few ashes in the ocean and had a big party for them, but I'm not very religious, so this is going to be my party.
Okay, I got you. We'll sing you into heaven while you're still alive. How's that?
Okay, Ray.
All right, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye. Jeff Pleadwell from Jeff Pirates Cove, and I'm looking for an excuse to say happy birthday to him. He's going to have a big son of a beach party over at Pirates Cove on Sunday, and you might be wondering, do I have to attend? I mean, it's Easter Sunday. What am I going to do? Yes, you have to attend. You can take care of whatever the big brunch thing is going to be, and then roll down there for no other reason to say hello to one of the original curmudgeons that we've got in this town. 9 away from the top of the hour here, and in the next hour of the program, we'll spend a little bit of time talking about some of the other kind of feel-goody things that are going on in this town. It's Holy Wednesday, for heaven's sakes. What'd you expect? There's going to be fireworks? You get Eddie screaming at BJ on the phone? Not hardly. They've managed to see eye to eye. They don't want any wiggle room here, and they don't want any cause for a judge or anybody at one point to say that the governor's paperwork did not meet the rules, the requirements of the statute that was passed and signed into law on this increase in the BPT by 1%. But it brings up an interesting question, though. God, and I should have asked Jeff when I had him on the line. Are you ready on Sunday to increase your BPT by 1%? You're going to have all these new people going down there for the crab legs and the cheeseburgers and the Mexican burritos that you were talking about with your new Mexican chef down there. So the question is, are you going to be ready for all of that and this increase in the BPT? Have you done your calculations? Have you saved it? I don't know. Let me see if I can do it over here. Hi, this is Ray. Who's this?
Me calling, Ray.
Which me? Which me is it?
It's me. Barry Mead.
Oh, Bear.
Barry Mead.
Bear. God, I was just thinking about you. I was talking with Joe St. Augustine about that big Vietnam vet thing coming up tomorrow.
Oh, that's from 10 to 12, I think, over at Manila. I wasn't too involved with the planning of that, but
you don't need to do that anymore. You're a Vietnam veteran, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going, yeah.
Yeah.
No, what we're doing also tomorrow, well, I'm glad you called, because tomorrow afternoon from 4 to 6, a small group of us are going to be out on the road in Antigua in front of the Congresswoman's office having a small rally, bring awareness to Agent Orange and the other toxic chemicals that the government refuses to acknowledge they ever had on this island.
But they did, and there's all kinds of guys that sworn testimony, and it's unfortunately in some cases deathbed testimony that yeah, we sprayed containers and canisters of that stuff around the edges of the base all the time.
Well, you know, I watched an interview on YouTube of Leroy Foster's interview one time, and you know, he's almost in tears, and I think part of his thing is why he's doing what he's doing now is personally he feels somewhat guilty about the fact that he was the guy that was spraying it, and unknowingly, of course, you know, the outcome of what it would be, and you know, I think he's looking for a little absolution, but also because of his granddaughter and other people are affected, and our thing is that you know, when the GAO came out here, I asked them that, you know, maybe what you need to do is not just talk to veterans that were serving on Guam during that period of time, but also talk to civilian employees and local folks that worked on the bases and were around this stuff as well, because they're still here on island. This isn't, to me, it's just not about vets only. It's also about residents of the island that worked near the pipelines, worked on the bases, worked near fence lines. Some people were involved in spraying, and the effect that that's had on not only them but on their children as well, because it's been proven that the effects of Agent Orange are hereditary.
It's another kind of downwinders.
Well, when you look at the number of people who my age or that were in their 20s and during the 60s and 70s here, and you look at the number of those folks today that have diabetes or have heart disease, and we know those are the two highest illnesses causing death in Guam today, and you look at the numbers and you got to wonder, why is it so prevalent in that age group for these two diseases? And I mentioned those two because those are two diseases that I have that have been associated with my being affected by Agent Orange.
And I hear that, but obviously there's so many different ways, there's so many different causes for the presentation of diabetes. I think a study would need to be done. It doesn't need to be a 20-year study. It just come down, and if you've got it, let's talk a little bit about your history. Let's talk about the biology in your family. Let's talk about you know, where your family has lived all of these years, what your dad did back in the 1950s and 1960s, and then maybe put together some kind of a cause and effect. I don't disagree. There's perhaps all kinds of other reasons why there are all of these issues that face us. And wouldn't it be something if we found out that it was, you know, downwinders that were downwind of the spraying of the Agent Orange up north, and then you got people that were downwind of the washing down of the ships with the radiation from Abel and Baker tests. I mean, just all of those things. It's multiple whammies here.
Absolutely true, and for myself, I didn't realize that until one day I had the epiphany, and I'm going, wait a minute, man. I'm going up and down the Mekong River on an Army boat, and I'm in that river at least once a week doing something on that boat, and there's no plants on either side of the river for 3 miles inland, and I'm going, oh yeah, no kidding, I swam in that junk. But for me, I'm the only person in my family with diabetes. But if you come to cancer, oh yeah, half my cousins have died of cancer, so that's a family issue. But when it comes to diabetes, I'm the only one. I'm the only one known to have had, so.
Now, without throwing another conspiracy. Without throwing Barry another conspiracy bomb in here, can we also tie this? Now, I'm sorry, because you know how we are. Can I also throw in the fact that there's no birds on Guam, and it wasn't because of the snakes.
Snakes can't eat that many eggs.
Exactly my point.
But see, so one of the pushes that we have and the outcomes was we're still waiting, and I'm not wanting to be one to get all over the Congresswoman's case on this, but. The last notice from her is she's waiting for the GAO report. Well, GAO works for the Congress.
Yeah.
And as a Congresswoman, to me, I'd be all over them. going, excuse me, but, you know, I'm tired of waiting on you guys. You said and you did, and this has happened, and there's former studies and everything else. Let's get it on. Let's get up to the Marble area. Let's get up to Andy South. Let's get up to these other areas. I mean, it's known. There's a map out that has.
I'm going to need you. I'm going to need you to stop there. Let's wrap up. I've got 60 seconds before the Fox News starts. So time and date for the Foster's gathering. That's going to be at the Congresswoman's office.
That's correct, in Antigua, which is also the ASC office, where they're building something in their old parking lot.
Right, out in the front.
Out there in that little median strip from 4 to 6. Be a group of us there. The Congresswoman's office providing us with a canopy and some water and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So that's cool, and we'll be out there. And small group. We got some posters and stuff. We're going to be.
Well, you'll have a bunch of media guys out there as well. Bear, call in tomorrow. I'm going to make the same offer because I'm going to be on the air tomorrow and Friday as well. But call in tomorrow. We'll get you back on the air so you can remind some of the other guys to show up and be a part of that demonstration with you. And then I can also talk to you about your adventures at the Guam Election Commission. All right? Until tomorrow. Thank you.
Until tomorrow. Bye-bye.
We're KUSG. Had gotten you. Here's Fox News.
A lawsuit in the works. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. New York, California, and several other states signing on to a lawsuit against the Trump administration over the plan to add a question about citizenship to the next U.S. Census.
Given the way that this administration has attacked immigrants, you can understand why immigrant families would be afraid to fill out the census questionnaire.
California Attorney General Javier Becerra, White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders defends the move.
We've contained this question that's provided data that's necessary for the Department of Justice to protect voters and specifically to help us better comply with the Voting Rights Act.
Sanders says she's not aware of any specific outreach efforts being planned to encourage immigrants to respond to the survey. An Arizona mother facing charges after authorities say she killed her young children. Fox's Steve Rappaport has more live.
Lisa, police arrested Brittany Velasquez after her 2-year-old son and 10-month-old daughter were found dead in their car seats in a vehicle outside the family's home last night.
CPR efforts were performed. They were not successful.
Superior Arizona Police Chief Christian Ensley.
It was reported by a relative that she would often leave her kids at the home and expect someone else to take care of them.
Relatives say Velasquez is mentally unstable and called Child Protective Services several times to report the children were in danger. Officials say investigators discovered evidence of foul play but would not elaborate. Lisa?
Steve, also in Arizona, police in the suburban town of Buckeye outside Phoenix say their positively identified remains recovered in a farm field as those of 10-year-old Jesse Wilson, who went missing nearly 2 years ago.
While that is not the outcome of which we hoped, we want to stress that this is not the end of this investigation.
Buckeye Police Detective Tamala Skaggs, Fox News, fair and balanced.
We have those moments in our lives that happen unpredictably. The unexpected instances that we did not really need. Now you can count on us to stay well, pa-pa-da to live well, pa-pa-da to stay well, making sure you stay well. Oh, I'll lift you up when times are low. I'll see how far we'll go, and stay well.
Stay Well Insurance. See how far we'll go.
Hoffaday, my name is James Moylan, and I'm running for a seat as your senator. The people of Guam expect more from their leaders, and I intend on delivering. If given the opportunity, I will bring my experiences in the military, public, and private sectors. I understand that during challenging times, tough decisions and an open mind are needed. Your tax dollars also need to be spent wisely. If you expect more from your elected officials and expect them to think outside of the box, then I humbly ask for your support this November. Thank you.
Paid for by the committee to elect James Camacho Moylan for Senator. Carlos Camacho, Treasurer.
A German automaker facing a lawsuit in the U.S.
The lawsuit filed on behalf of U.S. BMW drivers alleges that BMW cheated on emissions on diesel vehicles, including its X5 models and 330D models, vehicles that promised power, fuel economy, and efficiency, but that, according to the suit, emitted levels of nitrogen oxide many times higher than their gasoline counterparts. BMW, in a statement, said it's reviewing the lawsuit and that as a matter of principle, BMWs are not manipulated and comply with all respective legal requirements. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The official report on what Prince had in his system the day he died is out.
Prince's level of fentanyl in his body at the time of his death was very high. The Midwest Medical Examiner's Office had ruled the musician's cause of death at his Paisley Park studios in April of 2016 fentanyl toxicity. The Confidential Toxicology reports that concentrations of fentanyl in Prince's blood was 67.8 micrograms per liter. Fatalities have been documented in people with blood levels ranging from 3 to 58 micrograms per liter. The 57-year-old had similar amounts of the opioid in his liver and stomach where it hadn't even been absorbed into his system. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
A federal appeals court overturning a decision in a long-running legal battle over whether Google infringed on programming language owned by rival tech company Oracle to build its Android operating system. The court ruling Google's use of Java was not fair and sent the case back to trial to determine damages. And Apple looking to grab more of the education market, rolling out a new iPad and classroom software. The new iPad has a more powerful chip and new free software for teachers, but the starting price could be a turnoff. It starts at $299 for students, compared with less than $200 for some Windows-based laptops. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
For more than 40 years, we've managed our island's most precious resource, your health. Take Care's benefit plans allow members access to more than 120 medical providers, 40 dental providers, and 18 pharmacies in the region. Take Care's health plans ensure members in Palau, Saipan, and Guam receive the care they deserve. Our programs and wellness classes have proven results for our valued members, and our commitment to your health never been stronger. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Good plan. Hey, good plan. How about this one? Go eat at King's Restaurant. For over 40 years, they've been serving favorites to families like yours. It's incredible. Always open, always local, always there for you. King's.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There's so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
Portions of the program also brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Buenas and Hafide, Guau si Claraming Lotnya of Malolo. And this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanotmu, protect your land. When it comes to your family land, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Oh. Wait, I'm supposed to give you a phone number. In a minute. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this thing here. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. See, this is my problem here. Is I am just one of those kids like you grew up with. Just always moving around. Just always got something going on. And today is no different.
They call that ADHD.
Is it? No, I don't believe. You know what? I don't believe in any of that stuff. I really, really don't. And anybody that tries to pin that on me has got to go a long, long way to proving that such a thing exists. I think that when I was growing up, we'd say that the kids were active. They're active kids.
Yeah.
But
high strung.
Yeah. And so you had parents that learned to deal with their active kids,
Yes.
and my parents learned to deal with me by kicking me out of the house at sunrise and don't come back until the streetlights come on.
Yeah, mine usually involved cutting off, small saplings from the big oak tree out front.
As in, isn't there somebody else that you can be bothering right now? And I'd go, but we live here, and I'd say, get out. go someplace and do something else out there. I'm gonna give you a phone number, somebody that I've been dying to chat with on what is going to be kind of a fun event in the next couple of days. Actually, and this is the nice thing, it's not actually in the next couple of days. It's going to be in about the first week or so of April, which means that it's not going to be in conflict with the 1,001 things that are beginning to start to pile up on your to-do list over the next couple of days. So while I'm waiting for that, this is, as I said, a lot of stuff going on, and there's multiple amounts of shiny here in the studio. I sent a note back to Mark Mendiola. That one. You don't have it? You broke it?
I think so.
Oh, what the heck? Oh, man, this is going to be rough. Okay, well, let me know when we get another break set up, and I'll go in and reset something. That is odd. 888-8255. Does not work.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up here.
I don't know. Let me try to call. I'm going to diagnose this thing on the air because there's not much that I can do about it from here. Make a new phone call, 5 and press that button and then see what happens. At any rate, there are a bunch of shiny. There's different ways that you can get a hold of me, and among them is goofing off on the Facebook Live gizmo, and I'm just absolutely delighted with the Facebook Live thing, and even more so because I found out that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Somebody told me that there's another Facebook Live that's out there. All right, groovy. So that works. Can you hear me? Wait, let's see. Well, you can't do it on your side? You totally broke that thing. At the back of that, there is a plug. Unplug it and then plug it back in. We'll do what the guy at the computer store always tells me to do, and that is just restart everything. So, where was I? Shiny. That I've been playing around with here in the program, and a number of people have called in or chimed in on the Facebook on a variety of points that I brought up. Sonny Cruz is asking, when do I go on the radio all day? When can I be on the radio all day? I don't know when I can be on the radio all day. That's kind of tricky. I'm already here in the building at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we're on the air until 10. Did it make the colors? Did the colors of the rainbow thing? Okay, and then so until 10 o'clock, and frankly, there are times, Sonny, where there's a whole lot of nothing going on. And a holy Wednesday like today could be one of those days where we see and have issues like that. And so that's kind of to be expected around the holidays. And every once in a while, usually Thursdays, I used to have a thing with Travis, and we'd get to be on Thursday morning, and as all of the heavy activity, the heavy news activity of the week was Monday and Tuesday, we'd get through what were pretty dry Wednesdays and say, well, it's Thursdays, and you never know what's going to happen on Thursdays. And the way it worked then, and to a degree it still kind of works out this way, is people want to get something into the news cycle, but they don't want it to be ragged about for days and days and days. So to get it in the news cycle on a Thursday, everybody in the media and letters to the editor and everything, that's all Friday, and then it's Saturday and Sunday, and then it gets to be Monday, and everybody will have forgotten what the big deal was, right? So that's that in my mind is kind of how it works at times like this. And as much as I'd love to be here and just shoot the bull with you for 8 hours, 10 hours a day, I don't know how I'd be able to make it through some of those leaner times. But I appreciate it and a kind words about listening since the big EPOW Beach Party launch at Hit Radio 100. Yeah, I remember that. That was a good time. Rebecca says, thanks for the Facebook Live. And we're very happy to be able to bring this to you. And it must be fun because the other station's doing it now. Isn't that great? My buddy Bob Kelly chimes in this morning. He's saying, talking about the bird population. As I said, when I was talking with Barry, Barry's talking about, a downwinder issue with Agent Orange. And I started talking about another downwinder issue with the cleanoffs that they did on the ships that they brought in from the Able and Baker test, right? Okay. They're all covered with contaminated sand and salt water and all of that. And they washed them down here, as opposed to a wash down elsewhere.
Wow.
And we thought that there are still people here that believe that that is a cause for different kinds of cancers and different maladies that have occurred. And then I said, not to throw in another conspiratorial bomb into this, but hey, what about the birds? Is it possible that the birds were eaten by all of the snakes? And the answer is probably not. Bob chimes in. He says in the 70s, probably largely due to the spraying of DDT to kill the mosquitoes to prevent disease spread during the Vietnamese refugee housing on Guam. Possible. And you got to remember, this is the 1970s. We didn't know. And when I say we, I don't mean me and my friends. I mean, just the authorities didn't know about how bad DDT could mess with avian eggs. And that's one of the reasons that led to its eventual banning.
But
for
man,
use.
they were covering these hallowed hills here on Guam with all sorts of substances in that time, weren't they?
But again, it's think about the lack of sophistication. What we know now versus what we knew back then. And, we just, hey, look, I got this liquid. What's it do? It'll kill every kind of bug imaginable. Oh, well, I want that. Give me that. Spray it all over everything. And not realizing that it was going to have an effect maybe on bird eggs and things like that. And maybe that's why we don't have the birds here. Of course, the snakes obviously might have made some kind of contribution to it, but, who knows about that. 9:14 in the morning. I'll return to the conversation and some of the other shiny stuff that I'm getting on Facebook and et cetera this morning, but I wanted to spend a few minutes with an old friend of mine. Not so much on the old side, just we'd known each other for a long time. I've always been a big supporter of Island Girl Power. Good morning, Juanita.
Half a day. Good morning.
I'm so glad that we found each other so I can get your message to our listeners here on The Point.
Yes. Wow. We have a pancake fundraiser coming up. And we've done them before, and they've always been at our location in Dededo. And it's coming up on April 7th.
Now, there's a pancake fundraising, and then there's pancake fundraising. What's so special about this one?
This one is a wonderful opportunity to highlight the ProStart and culinary programs over at Simon Sanchez.
Yeah.
And, of course, throughout the island. They're the ones that's going to be preparing the food, hosting, and serving the pancakes. But more than that, you get to see Island Girl Power. You get to see our facility. You get to know exactly where the funds are being raised are going to.
Mm-hmm.
And you really get a chance to meet the families that are connected with the program, the volunteers that make it run.
So vital to getting an understanding about Island Girl Power and then keeping it moving forward. And then of course, there's the opportunity to eat pancakes.
Of course, yes. Pancakes are awesome.
So
we push healthy meals, we push portion control, but we also push loving and living life to the fullest. So there's a moderation in there, and there's also just loving pancakes.
So the question that I always have, I'm not a big pancake guy. I'll tell you right now, I'm more of a eggs and hash brown and bacon and chorizo and toast and fried chicken.
I don't know about all of that, but if you come early, there may be some of the eggs and breakfast sausage and extra stuff, but that's only while supplies last.
Understood, but otherwise the big deal is the pancakes. Now with the pancakes, when I do eat pancakes, and people will go, you're just being too finicky about this, but when I eat pancakes, I like real maple syrup. Not the fake syrup. And you can always tell, look in the back of it, and it says high fructose corn syrup, and they've got artificial colors and artificial flavors. And it looks and tastes like maple, but it's not real.
Right. We're working on the sponsorships for some real good syrup. But the best highlight for the event is the fact that it's being sponsored by Sweet Stacks. Sweet Stacks is our gourmet pancake batter. Chamorro family, Babalta family, went off to California and got their recipe marketed and packaged. And so Sweet Stacks sent us 3 cases of pancake mix. And we're going to be using the good stuff.
Nice. Well, so if you're gonna be using the good stuff, go and find out who the distributors are around here and have them give you a matching donation. And if you find them, I'll put them on the air. We'll get them and I'll make a big deal about it on the radio here on The Point and say that the real good. We're using great. We're going to use the best possible ingredients. Sweet Stacks for the pancakes and real came from a tree maple syrup to cover it up with.
I'm working on it. But,
well, I mean, if you need to say, if they're going to say, well, what do I get out of it? Just say Ray Gibson is going to just slather you the same way that the real good maple syrup just slathers flavor on top of these Sweet Stacks pancakes. I will slather love on their businesses, on their wholesale or retail or whatever.
Okay. Can I shout out?
I am the most expensive 30-second ad on Guam. I'll tell you that right now. And for me to give them a lot of that additional love, I mean, it's going to be worth thousands. I sound like Donald Trump when I say this, but
Because I believe you. I am going to pitch it because I love warm and fuzzy Ray Gibson.
absolutely, I'd be happy to do that for you. So you use my name here when you're talking to your vendors. All right. Are there any other vendors you want to say thank you to right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Avis Rent-A-Car has done a monetary donation, as well as the Bank of Guam came forward and really is helping us to pull out some of the extra supplies and resources we need for the event. So those are a couple. And then we have some sponsors that are donating raffle prizes because we want to be able to keep people entertained.
Mm-hmm.
If they're dining in, so you have a choice to dine in at $15, or you can to go, and that's $10. Whether or not you're working, let us know where you're at, and maybe we'll drop off a few containers of pancakes for you guys.
Wow. No, you got to eat it in. No, you got to eat in. That's an eat in thing. So what's the date on this again?
This is April 7th, and we're going as eco-friendly as possible. We have some vendors that we're working with to get some to-go containers and then the plates for the day that are not going to add. We do not subscribe to styrofoam at all at our center. And we've done that since 2010.
You just put them in plastic bags. No, stick them in plastic bags.
Even our thrift store is using cloth bags, recycled cloth bags, and we really don't want to add to the mess in the environment. So we're doing our best to stay away from plastic bags, but sometimes our big trash issues are more than we can handle. But we're doing our best, and we're taking steps forward to be more eco-friendly all the way around.
Well, it's important that teach the kids about sustainability and caring for their environment. You know me, I'm not much of a tree hugger, but I like a clean island.
Of course, everybody can do something.
And so I appreciate the fact that you continue to do this for our young ladies and Island Girl Power. I mean, it is what it sounds like. It's a place where young ladies can go and find out what all of the opportunities are, learn from each other, learn from some of the older girls, and to realize that there is more to life than school and the mall and Snapchat and all of the other stuff. There's great opportunities from with learning from it. And so do me a favor. I want you to add Michael Knight to your circular because your deal is on the 7th. That is a Saturday, and Michael Knight will be on Boss 104 Saturday morning.
Okay, and just so you know, there's so much more expansion we've had to the facility, and there's so much for people to see on April 7th to come and take a tour of the site. So come by, take a look, give me a call, I'll give you a tour. My number is 688-4752.
Gotcha. And one last thing before I'm done. I saw a post that you put on social media yesterday. There's a bunch of monitors and old fax machines or whatever. And I guess the idea is unless somebody comes and picks these things up, you're taking them to get recycled, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Outdated, for the most part, but then some might still be usable for the right person. But at some point, the thrift store's got to move merchandise.
Exactly. And if you got merchandise that you want to give to the thrift store so that they can make some money.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 10 to 5.
I've got some old man clothes from my closet that I want to. I normally take them over to Catholic Social Services, and I might still, but I'm curious. Is that something that I could drop off at your place? I mean, they're all clean
and so that's the biggest thing is just bring us in some clean, in good condition items that can be sold. It hurts when we get a donation that is dirty or needs some fixing, and we don't have the manpower to do that kind of thing. So give us items that are ready to sell, and really can be for anyone. Old man, what are you talking about? You're not an old man. So yeah, bring over your clothes. We need men's clothes and shoes, probably the most.
Okay, done. I have plenty like that.
Donate things until they don't change their clothes until they're falling apart. So, hey, donate good clothes.
I will. Juanita, thanks so much for the time. Thanks for everything you do for the girls.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the time of the year.
Anytime. The answer is always yes.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, that's Island Girl Power. Boy, she's been on the air with me. Here, there, Power 98, when they first opened that thing up.
For about, what, 4 years, yeah?
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Been a while. Let me see. What do we got here? What do we got on the thing? Sonny says Mark Colby would be a great addition to the point. I'm sorry, just every once in a while I got to check the messages as they're coming in, because what will happen is every once in a while I'll take a look and it'll be like 9:55 and go, oh man, I could have done another 20 minutes worth of talk on that. So what do we got? There's Chris Biachino asking if we sprayed DDT on the place. Why do we still have chickens on Guam? You know why, Chris? Because those are boony chickens. That's why. They're not run-of-the-mill, average, ordinary, wimpy, whatever chickens from wherever it is that wimpy chickens come from. The chickens on Guam are boony chickens. And I know about boony chickens because up in the neighborhood, we've got boony chickens and boony cats. And I've said this before, and nobody believes me, but I believe they talk to each other. I'm almost positive that they are talking to each other. Because they are taking over huge swaths of the neighborhood up there. And so the chickens go down this way, and then the cats go down in the other direction. And I don't know if they got a deal to kill snakes or do whatever it is, but that's the two gangs in the neighborhood is the chickens and the cats.
Are they working in tandem? Or
not together. I think
they don't
just
have an MOA or anything.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think they've got an MOA. So my buddy Eddie Cruz on, Vicky Beamish, nice to see you there. Joten Afalai and Doris, one of my favorite teachers out there. Bob Hoffman, Daryl Lizama. Daryl, that's funny. Daryl's supposed to be doing a radio show. Jeff Chris, Dan Cruz, Kathy Scrow, Jay Rojas from Telena's office, Ryan to Nicholas, Kaylia from the Congresswoman's office, making sure that nobody's talking smack about the Congresswoman. She's actually in town. I actually saw her the other night, and she says, I'm going on your show. I said, good, when? She says, I don't know, ask Amanda. All right, so Amanda says we're all going to get together here in just a little bit. Earlier today, and I will eventually set up a mechanism here so that you can just go and look at the website and see who I've already talked to, and then just listen to that part. But earlier today, about 7:30 or so, Mark Mendiola, and we had a great conversation about what's going on at the Ed Board and some conversations that they have had about ROTC and being able to interchange that in some cases with PE. I thought that was interesting. And then the conversation about who is going to be cutting the yard in the school. Now, they had been talking earlier about doing that with the mayor's office, but the mayors are getting some extra duty because it looks like they're going to be doing a whole lot of the work that CSS had been doing. At least that's what it looks like from here. And they're saying, we're not going to be able to do this, so we'll return the money. Wow, nice. To DOE. And so DOE is going to be left answering the question of who's going to be doing it. I have said, and I still believe this is the right way to do it, and that is we get students that are in some kind of trouble. Justice under God, we called it at Father Duenas. We can come up with a name, another name in the school system so that kids that are acting up, have got some kind of penance in front of them, and it might be in the form of doing bush cutting and all of this. Now here's the thing. Bob wrote in, and it really annoyed me when I saw this. He says, well, we're going to have to give them, I don't know, something blunt. Because if we give them a machete and they hurt themselves, or we give them a chainsaw and they hurt themselves, or we give them a bush cutter and they hurt themselves, well, we're just exposed. I'm like, oh, my God, what a bunch of snowflakes we're raising. For God's sakes, you know, it is soft nations, soft islands raise soft men.
You know, Ray, you do realize that most young people under the age of about 30 can't drive a Standard. I'm going to leave that right.
Yeah, but it's not because they're stupid. I don't think. I don't think. They just don't have the experience with the vehicle. I mean, when I grew up, I mean, it was that you had to know how to drive both cars.
My first Standard, a Ford Maverick, 73 model.
Oh my
God! 3 on the tree. Man.
Mark, what about yours? What kind of car did your folks give you when it was time for you to start driving your own set of wheels?
My first car was a Mazda Protege. And it was automatic.
Oh, I love the Protege. That's what we used to call it. There was nothing wrong with that car.
No, it was smooth. It was a beautiful car. My cousin actually did teach me stick, but because I have the size 15 foot, he was like, you know what? No, stay away from the Standard. You stick to automatic.
Yeah, size 15 foot. There's not a whole lot of room to maneuver that around between the clutch and the brake and the gas pedal in a Protege.
No, I had a whole lot of problems when I first learned to stick. So I was like, okay, never mind.
You were that guy. You were that guy. That is so cool. The first car for me, first car that I want to say that I was given. I learned to drive in an old Datsun Mariana sales pickup that Uncle Jim let me drive, and the only reason why he let me drive it was because he was running for senator and had a big vote for Jim Underwood sign on the back of the truck, and that was the only thing. And he let me do that until he started getting telephone calls from people saying, "Hey Jim, if you're going to let that guy drive your vehicle, maybe he shouldn't drive like an idiot, because that's actually going to cost you votes there, Big Jim." And so eventually, by and by, my old man got me a 1972 Plymouth Satellite, which was automatic. And you remember that? Yeah, this is so he got me this in 1979. Does anybody remember what happened to gasoline prices in 1979? They went from being about 35, 40 cents to over $1 at the time, and so it was one of those things. I actually broke up with a girl in Jigo because I couldn't afford to drive to her house anymore. Nice. Pretty girl. Anyway, sad story. Mark Colby is on the line. Mark, how you doing there, buddy?
I'm good. Good morning and happy day, sir.
I'm all frisky because it's Easter weekend coming up, and it's one of my favorite holidays. And I was looking at something, my notes, and it seems to me it's been a while since we've gotten an update from you on what's happening with GML at the Paseo Stadium. Now they're opening up Estumbo and they're opening up Petey. And we'll see what happens with the police department precinct in Agana. But I was kind of hoping maybe you'd heard something about them finding the dough that they need to start working on reopening Paseo.
Well, I did get word from Commissioner Rocky Alcantara last week. He decided that, we should just go in there and see what we can do. Like I've been saying, somebody privately needs to go in there and take care of what needs to be done. But because it is a government facility, there's a lot of red tape there. From what I heard from the commissioner,
oh God!
Now they are allowing possibly to go back in, like the original idea of using the sides, where they put the new roofing. However, the grandstands and the press box will remain closed.
Off limits.
Plus. Yeah, it'll be off limits. Plus, the whole thing with the way the government is right now with the spending and the bills and the budget, they are saying that we can't use the lights. So, I really don't know where we are other than we're still on hold.
What do the lights cost to run?
I really can't tell you that number. I know that We use it nightly when we have the games.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. And I'm quite sure it's not in the dollars. I'm sure it's in the bigger bills.
Oh, I'm sure that as well. But now it leads me to the question, and I haven't checked the last time I was down in the Agana area. Are they still running those lights at night, even though there's no games? That will happen from time to time down there.
Yes. What it is a lot of the teams, and whether it's in the GML League or the Masters League,
yeah,
they've been using the facility for practicing, for warm-up. The boys want to play. The boys want to stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of our major recreations on island, sports, baseball. So a lot of the teams are using the facility for recreation to keep, practicing. But we're still on hold in regards to actually getting in there to play games.
So let me see. Now I could go. My teams could go, and we could practice, and they'll turn on the lights, and nobody gets charged. But the second I say that it's a GML game, then they won't turn on the lights unless I pay.
No, usually teams that go in there to practice, they have a sponsor that assists in the usage of the facility.
So okay, so the nut one way or the other is going to get covered. So I guess the point is that you can use it. You just got to figure out how to cover all of the things that maybe in the past would have been taken care of for free. But we understand that these are lean times for the Department of Parks and Recreation, the government of Guam. So if we got to pay for lights, factor that into your ticket price, factor that into your sponsorship rates, and see if it's still a going concern.
True, which is like, if you recall me mentioning you before, if I know a lot of people don't like me saying this, but Paseo Stadium needs to be privately operated. It needs to be taken out of the hands of the government of Guam, whether it's a corporation, an entity, an organization, or a certain individual with a big savings account. Look at any stateside sports facility.
Yeah.
The boards. You got big names that own the companies that own the sporting stadiums, and they know what it takes to fix the seat, maintain the field, keep the lights running, and the facilities in proper maintenance. And of course, unfortunately, that could raise the price, but the experience, like we talked before, you will bring more people. You will bring Olympic size organizations coming to Guam to use the facility.
Well, the same way, isn't it the same way that, as an example, and maybe this one's a little bit closer to home and only quasi-government, is you've got the UOG Field House. And the Field House has got some sponsorship on top of it, and it's got some people whose sole job is to maintain the field house and to market the field house, so that if we're not running a game for the University of Guam Tritons against the Harlem Globetrotters, there might be another one or two events that we can do in there. Sometimes it'll be a sporting event. Sometimes it'll be some kind of a gathering. Some kind of might be a concert. But that's what they do. They manage that building for all of the multiple uses that it has. And so we could do the same thing with the Paseo Stadium, finding somebody that would operate it, perhaps under a quasi-government way, line agency, if you will, and working with sponsors, and then figuring out the marketing. Now, the field itself, the baseball field, has kind of primary use. It's supposed to be a baseball field. So if we're not doing it to play our GML games, and we're not using it for practices, then we can do it for spring training. Or other kinds of training in and around the region. So the Japanese want to come out here, the Chinese want to come out here, the Koreans are starting to come out here and do that kind of thing. Is it not?
True. I mean, yeah, no, you're absolutely correct, and that's what I know that they've looked at doing in the past, but I don't think they have the personnel who is properly in position to do and
no, you'd need to put up. You'd need to find somebody that's got the wherewithal to be able to write a good plan for you. I'm not saying that we solved this by talking about it for 10 minutes on the radio. You hire a guy, and I'm sure that somewhere out there is a consultant that would put together a plan and could begin the process of making inroads with the hundreds of baseball teams that are within about a 4-hour airplane ride from Guam.
You're right, and I like to put a nomination out there for Sunny Cruz.
Ha! I have the Sunny Cruz Mark Colby Mutual Appreciation Society thing going on in the Facebook deal this morning, and I'm glad that you guys are both there together. Share the links, would you? Share it out so that everybody else can join in on the fun. It sounds like there are small steps being taken towards good news, but does it sound like that there's going to be any GML games happening, or is this season going to be bust?
I'm still on hold, but I do have the Facebook page. I know I haven't put anything on it in a couple of weeks because nothing's really been coming up. If something does come up, I will make sure that I do post it, and I will make sure I'll give you a call and let you be informed. I do want to make sure that whatever happens, the media is aware, and we will get it out.
Here's what you can do, Mark. At I don't know, probably about 11 o'clock this morning, go to Ray Gibson Show on YouTube, and there will be the video of this. Everything that we're talking about, the entire 4-hour show, will be in one video thing. So what you do is you get the embed code for that, and then share it, and you can start that anytime you want to. So it doesn't have to start at 6 o'clock in the morning. You can tell the embed code to have it start at, what time do we start this call? About 9:20, something like that?
Yeah, it was about 9:27.
Yeah, so you just scooch over that and have it start right there. And then everybody will be able to hear you and I talking about this and our first cars. Right? Next time it'll be first girlfriends. But anyway, so we'll be able to pick up that conversation from right there, okay?
Copy on that.
And if you can't figure it out, because I know they got you working hard over at the hotel, then just give me a ring. Speaking of the hotel, how's they're starting to put up walls on your neighbors?
Oh, you mean over at the Nico?
Yeah.
Yeah, the new hotel, the Tsubaki Tower, is they're already in the 4th floor.
Isn't that amazing?
Another 30 to go.
Yeah, I think that's funny. So already in the 4th, and only another 30 to go. Now that the foundation is in, though, it seems to me that they put that together like building a watch. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun for you to be a neighbor and watch that.
We're sitting out there. I whether I'm in the control room and I pan the camera over, I can see the daily, and then when I'm out at the entranceway, I'm always looking over. I'm up in the floors, walking around. I'm looking down every week, just keeping an eye on it. And it's amazing how I'm able to see something like this. I mean, a lot of people can say they grew up on Guam when Tumon only had the Hilton.
I'm the guy.
And and I was not around at the time when I was around, but I wasn't really paying attention to the way that Tumon just exploded with construction. And now I can actually see up close, personal, the Tsubaki Tower coming up, and I know that our assistant general manager, Mr. Joe Blas, he told us once they get the foundation, which they got the foundation, it's going to go boom, 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 straight up. And like I said, we're on the 4th floor. We got like 30 more to go.
Yeah, it's all. Joe's right. He's seen it happen before, and this is going to go unbelievably fast. And I know that you guys are going to be good neighbors out there because Nico's kind of a PHR place to begin with. So I think everything is going to work out for the best between the two of you guys. So you're the guy that's running the cameras over at the Nico?
No comments, sir.
Okay, yeah, because if you can get me a copy of if you can get me that IP link, that would be awesome. We just put it on all the Korean hot pants that are walking by there all the time. Did I say that out loud again? I gotta learn to watch my tongue. I'll talk to you pretty soon, Mark. Have a fantastic Easter if we don't talk again. All right.
All right, sir. Have a nice day.
I certainly will. Don't call me sir. Just a guy from the village with an interesting job. What can I say? Tell you what I have to say. It's 9:42 in the morning, first of all, and that's iConnect time. iConnect. What do they want me to tell you about? Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk mobile and internet plans.
With the pending implementation of a new sales tax, the team of Gutierrez Bordalio is greatly concerned for the people of Guam. The collection of this tax means $160 million a year will come from our already suffering working class and will negatively impact the cost of living for our island families. If given the opportunity, our team would immediately look at restructuring the government to reduce from the top and prioritize critical services. We need a streamlined plan. We need leadership. We need Gutierrez Bordalio.
I'm Carl Gutierrez, and I approve this message.
All right, now, same question as before. You want me to do the Wendy's with the new smoky mushroom bacon cheeseburger, or did you want me to do the...
It's almost 10 now.
Is it?
It's
Okay, so we can
almost
move into lunchtime. Okay, because I could do the sell on the strawberry shortcake and fresh lemon pie ice cream for all the big...
with the golden Oreos made from unicorns. Yeah.
Is that what I said it was going to be?
So
the Dalai Lama... The Dalai Lama actually invented the cookie part of the golden Oreo cookie.
I see.
And
trying
that's
to help you reach a higher level.
Well, you remember that Eddie Murphy movie in the 80s, Golden Child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. So the Dalai Lama's golden Oreo cookies is what they use when they're doing the mix here on the strawberry shortcake and the fresh lemon pie ice cream.
Very nice.
So if you'd like to have a little bit of that holiness of the Dalai Lama, right there for your Easter party. Is that okay? Can you mix the Dalai Lama-ness with the Catholicness of the... It's going to be okay, right? We're not talking about major culture classes.
No. It's not. It's not like It's not like we're talking about bad religions.
Yeah,
we're just talking about people being spiritual.
What bad religion were you thinking about when you said bad religion?
Well, there are some that are better than others, and some that are not.
You mean the ones that are with the beheadings all the time?
Yeah, the ones that like to blow people up. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, okay. I'll say radical Islam is what you're talking about here. I'll do what Obama wouldn't do. Radical Islam is what we are talking about here. And so those are the guys that you don't want coming to your Easter parties, right? But
they'll
the
bring the
Dalai
plain
Lama
Oreos anyway.
With the golden Oreo cookies? That's what you want to bring. So see, I would have done that for Cold Stone Creamery, but apparently I'm supposed to do the deal here for the new smoky mushroom bacon cheeseburger. Featuring, and the radical Islams won't like the bacon part of this either.
No, they won't.
They'll hate it. They'll say, I'm sorry, cannot have that. Featuring smoky sauteed portobello mushrooms, melted Asiago cheese. It's actually pronounced Asiago, but I like saying Asiago. Crispy applewood smoked bacon and crunchy fried onion tangles atop a juicy beef patty. Here for a limited time at Wendy's. Now that's better.
How do you turn every day into cash back? With the Bank of Guam Visa credit card, cash back just got better. Get 1.5% cash back every month with every purchase. Every pick-me-up, every filler-up, every Sunday dinner, every four-wheel spinner. Whatever comes to mind, even every stroll in the sweet sunshine. Everything your heart desires turns into 1.5% cash back every month. The Bank of Guam Visa credit card, the everyday card. Apply today. Call, click, or visit. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Subway's got your fresh choices for Lent. Sink your teeth into the classic tuna or the mouthwatering greatness of the seafood sensation. And right now, all of the things that I'm talking about, you can have not just in a Subway sandwich, you can have it in a wrap.
That's right.
They have these great, they've got a, what was it, the tomato basil wrap.
That was awesome.
Which looks like empanada. When you look at it, you'll go, that's empanada. And when you bite into it, you'll expect to crunch.
Subliminal.
One day we'll get there, right? We'll just keep going, keep marching, people. And so you've got, what was the other one? The other one was spinach.
Yeah, the spinach. No, they do have the spinach wrap, and that one's delicious.
So whatever sandwich you want to get at Subway, they can make for you in wrap form. And they've got some other wraps there that you can try. So maybe a Veggie Max or the classic tuna. And if you've decided that you're done eating fish for Lent, they've got it in turkey and chicken as well. Subway, fresh is what they do.
It's super, stupendous, it's sensational. It's a sensational seafood menu at Ruby Tuesday with satisfying selections of classic entrees like the fish trio and new favorites like lobster carbonara or seafood pan roast. Try them all and enjoy sensational seafood for a limited time at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
Did you know over 80% of all vision impairments can be prevented or cured? Naval Academy and Johns Hopkins University graduate Dr. Peter Lombard has performed thousands of sight-saving procedures in Guam since 2010. He specializes in cataract surgery and can treat your diabetic eye disease, glaucoma, and much more. From simple vision exams to complex surgery, Lombard Health proudly accepts all insurance. Call today to book an appointment at 989-4747. Guam's best eye care. One patient at a time.
At Micronesia Renewable Energy, values matter. So all of their solar energy systems come with guarantees and the most value. No shortcuts, all quality. It's giving you that solar energy system at the best price. It's using highly efficient solar panels with typhoon-proven racking, built by highly skilled local technicians, so your system performs and saves you money. It's total peace of mind all the time. Not all solar companies are created equal. For experienced quality solar, it's MRE. Call 632-2613. MRE, the smarter choice.
This KFC chicken is great. Shrimp. Hey, who are you calling shrimp? KFC's new shrimp burger. It's great.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. Try our new shrimp burger and all our seafood items available this season. KFC Food Kelliquin, breaded shrimp, seafood salad, and of course, we can't forget your one and only favorite KFC original recipe chicken.
All right. I need to try KFC's new shrimp burger. Good, because you really are a shrimp. Hey, a 5-7.
KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The stations of Choice Broadcasting are celebrating April 2018 as National Earth Month in the first ever Upcycle Mascot Showdown. We've invited the public elementary 5th grade classes to set the example and build their school mascots completely out of recyclable material. Come down to the Chamorro Village Festival Huts on April 21st from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. for a full day of fun. Support your school's mascot and be sure to vote for your favorite. Judges pick the first place winner. The public votes for the second place winner. Celebrate Earth Month with our students in the Upcycle Mascot Showdown. Brought to you by Leo Palace Resort Guam, Dr. Yang Dental, Denny's of Guam, and The Point.
My God, that was the longest break in the history of the radio station. Did we just run everything? Is that what happened? All right, just checking. 9:49 in the morning here as we're getting ready to wrap up the program, and we're at a stage of the show where I like to refer to as the small talk portion of the program. There's nothing that I'm going to bring up here that's I don't know gonna get people all twisted in a bunch. Although there's hearing about an announcement that there's not going to be a carnival in 2018.
Wow.
No Liberation Carnival. And you know what? I gotta what's the word I'm looking for? I've got to be consistent as much as possible, morally consistent as much as possible. And this is where the moral consistency comes in, and it's a bitter pill, and I'm going to hate saying it, but I'm going to say it. If there's no money to be had, if we are so short of cash that we're shutting things down, whether you agree or not, if we're so short of cash that we've got to move the kids from the fire station from Estumbo and Petey and yada yada yada, then we should not be throwing parties. If we're having questions about whether or not we're going to be able to start the school year on time, then we shouldn't be throwing parties. Yeah. So that's the way I feel about that. It all comes down usually to whether or not there's going to be some kind of a casino activity, and the casino supports all of the other activities. And if we're not able to do that, if they weren't able to strike a deal with the governor, well, then that's all there is to it. Because it's maybe a little bit of a parade, and that's it. Well, guys, sorry, we can't afford to stand up this massive party if we don't have any money. That's what I call living like the Kardashians. I owe, and instead of you get $2 or $3 in your pocket, instead of paying the bills, you go out and throw another party.
Yeah, it's just simple everyday logic. You don't go on a 3-day bender when the rent's due.
No, just 2 days. That's all you got. Yeah. You don't need all 3 days on the bender. So that's it. And like I said, I'd love to be able to back up on this, but I can't. The moral consistency, that's the deal. So there's that. Now, I'm not saying that it would be bad to have a casino at the Carnival. Frankly, it's not my decision. They put together that law. Who do you get to yell at? That was Talina's, right? Last time, do you remember?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
I think that was her that said that we shouldn't ought to be having casino at the Carnival with the little kids and the rides and all of that. And they tried. I remember they put together a decent enough fight, but it didn't work out. Passed, and we got what we got because we apparently don't like gambling here. I bet you. I'll bet we don't like gambling. So I guess the rest of it is, we come down to what do we do next? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do on that. Maybe this is the first salvo that they're firing across Adelup or wherever, the legislature, to cause some kind of change. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. Doesn't make any difference to me. Frankly, I don't gamble, and number one. And number two, the kids have outgrown the fascination with the carnival. And frankly, there are some times and places there where you just go, I'm afraid to sit there because I might get tetanus. I don't want to ride on that ride because it's an old ramshackle old ride. It's been outside for a long time, and it looks like it's one of those things where we have a motor connected to all of this metallic gear that is connected to something else, and they're actually spinning apart. The parts are physically flying away from each other, and I'm not sure if I want to put my kid in that.
Well, you know, and I'm new here. Okay, this will be my second Liberation Day festival.
Yep.
And I remember last year watching the social media, and people, they just weren't impressed with last year's happenings anyway. There are a lot of complaints about, oh, it's going so far down in all these years and all that. So,
I don't remember it ever. You know what? The best time, and it's up for discussion and argument, but it seems to me that the best carnival that we ever had was the carnival when we had it at the old amusement park up in Jigo. And this would be in like 1970, 77? 1978, something like that. I mean, it was that long ago. And we've had a couple of nice ones since then, but it's still in all, we run into this thing where you got the gambling and you got the beer and that kind of thing would tend to change families away. And so, I don't know. 9:53 on the program. And as I make my way to the end of it, the reason why that's an interesting conversation, as I said, because of the casino nonsense. But the other question that I've got here is why don't we do the casino at the airport? Now, there's a story in today's Guam Daily Post about politician Hofschneider, one of the Hofschneiders up there, and his idea is we would put casinos, some kind of gaming, at the airport. Well, that's awesome. Let's do that. It's international ground, isn't it? So how many of the laws that apply out here would apply there? Or could we write it so that, the sterile areas past the TSA are places where, we can look the other way on gambling? Because, frankly, if anybody's got a problem, they're not our problem. They're going to get on an airplane and take their gambling addiction somewhere else. It's not like they're going to be prostituting themselves in the parking lot to go back into the place and gamble and let their kids sleep outside, as they tell me has happened in the past with some of the game rooms that we've got here.
Wow.
That doesn't become our problem. And it's something for them to do a little bit. And for heaven's sakes, the money that we could make on this, on the licensing side, we'd be able to go back to somebody and we would license them the ability to go into the Guam International Airport, set up their equipment any way they want to, but again, within the confines of the license. We could charge an unholy amount of money for them to be the licensees.
And they would pay.
So, when Lodi gets kicked out and DFS goes back in, you can have Lodi come back in and they can run the gambling operation at the airport, and you could do it. You could do it anywhere. There's so many different places. You could have slot machines over by the departure areas, the individual gates. You could have some slots. I don't want to say slot machines, but and I'm not talking about roulette or anything. Just the computerized gear with the one-armed bandits and all of that. You can have those things over by where the food is. Or if you're really, really good and you've got an imagination, you do it the way I do it, we'd have the majority of them circled around wherever beer is sold at the airport. We could make some money.
Yeah. And would that not just simply take a simple amendment to the existing law that was passed last year?
We could make a whole deal about, how we're going to set up the license. We don't have... If I remember correctly, somebody will chime in. What we don't have is a casino law here, so it would need to be. I don't want to dig into the cockfighting rules and say we're going to make this a part of that. But you could create your own Guam casino license law that would provide for all of the things that we want to do. The government of Guam and the so-and-so, the Department of Revenue and Taxation, we hereby create this entity which is now going to be solely responsible, and you can have a board that goes after it, and like they have gambling boards in Las Vegas. And so, that's the way it works. So you sell the licensing. You can rent them the space on the machines. You can charge them whatever the electricity is going to cost for all of these things. And then we ask for a portion of the proceeds from all of these gambling devices. And we use that to take care of Guam Memorial Hospital or the Department of Education or the Carnival.
Yeah, because you could put a flat tax. You could put a flat tax on those machines, 5%.
Whatever
it
is.
They'll still keep
And then there's employment. There's 100 upsides to being able to do this, and then we don't have to worry about the hard parts of gambling and what the impact is going to be on our community. Because as I said, any problem gamblers, any kind of the gambling addicts that we're going to be pulling some money from, their problem leaves on the 6:55 to Tokyo, on the 7:30 to Hong Kong. So I think Hofschneider's got a good idea out there. And while we still have airplanes flying in and out of Guam, maybe that would be a good idea to bring some of that stuff out here. It doesn't look like we were able to stir up a whole lot of conversation on Elliman and her husband, Grammy Award-winning Yvonne Elliman, and her husband on a meth import charge. Is that what it was? That's what they were caught with at Guam International Airport. You want to talk about gambling, right? And they get 14 days sentenced in a court of law. Judge Vern Paris to 14 days in Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii. That's not much of a punishment.
You and I would do a longer jail sentence for jaywalking here.
Probably get into all kinds of trouble, but I don't know, maybe because it's the Grammys, maybe because they got Mike is the lawyer and all of that stuff. But I just worry that doesn't send a very good signal to the kids. For heaven's sakes, we do have a serious problem with crystal methamphetamine in this community. And you take a look at all of the break-ins, all of the robberies, all of the idiotic nonsense that goes on around here. And I guarantee somewhere in those stories is some idiot with an ice pipe. So, smiling, happy Yvonne Elliman and her 14 days worth of jail time. I guarantee that the dope that she bought, she didn't make herself. She bought it from somebody that might have been selling to kids. That's why this is a big deal, and that's why that crime should have been dealt with a little bit more seriously. In my mind, my thoughts. It's 9:59, almost 10 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG Hagåtña. For Kevin Kerrigan and Mike Knight, this is Ray Gibson saying thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow morning right here on the radio and the Facebook thing. Bye.
A break with the state. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A large county in California says it will not support sanctuary status.
Orange County supervisors in closed session away from microphones and cameras voted unanimously to join the government's suit against California's sanctuary law. 1 week earlier, one of the county's towns, Los Alamitos, also went against the state. Orange County's ultimate decision became evident once its sheriff's department started publishing release dates of jail inmates who may be in the country illegally. The state law to limit police cooperation with federal authorities was signed into law last year. Supporters of sanctuary status say it allows immigrants to act as responsible citizens without fear of deportation.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Beijing has confirmed North Korean leader Kim Jong-un visited China, his first foreign trip since taking power. New York, California, and several other